9 till noon show. It's Greg Hughes. Morning, Greg.
Thank you very much indeed, Rory. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. Okay, our Friday panel will be joining us very shortly to kick off today's edition of the 9 till noon show. But at 9 o'clock, we'll get a news update and cross over now to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. Tribute have been paid to former Fianna Fáil councillor Dermot Mclaughlin following his death. Mr Mclaughlin served as a councillor on the Buncrana Urban District Council, taking on the role as chair on numerous occasions. Cahirlock of Donegal County Council, Councillor Jack Murray, says he leaves behind an incredible legacy, having represented the people of Buncrana for more than 4 decades. While Cahirlock of the Inishowen Municipal District, Councillor Nicholas Crossan, who served alongside Mr Mclaughlin on the Town Council, says he will be a huge loss to the town.
Dermot was well known throughout the Buncrana community, throughout the whole of Donegal. He served in an awful lot. I couldn't even name the committees that he did. He was very, very dedicated to the community and certainly to the people of Buncrana. He was a central figure in Buncrana, and Buncrana will miss Dermot Mclaughlin.
Donegal County Council has been told that the local development plan for Letterkenny is not ready to go to public consultation yet, as there are still some disagreements between members and officials. Speaking during a protracted debate at this week's council meeting, Head of Planning Liam Ward said the Letterkenny 2040 document and the local plan should be interlinked, but some members were sceptical, saying that could limit their power to change the plan in the future. Councillor Michael McBride says 2 major sticking points remain. One of them, the need to develop south of the Swilly. The other to do with potential flood zones on which officials are suggesting development might be limited.
We feel it's too close to the town centre. It's beside the ATU. We feel it should be incorporated. We have a few other issues with developments out on the lake side, on the south side of the River Swilly. The councillors feel that we need a critical mass of houses out there to be able to get the services put in. We strongly feel as a council that south side of the Swilly needs development.
An independent TD says there's a serious question mark around the National Broadband Plan. It's after it was revealed just over 40,000 homes were passed by the end of March. New figures from National Broadband Ireland show the target for the end of the year has been cut from 205,000 to 102,000. Independent Deputy Michael McNamara says people are being told the service isn't available.
People are crying out to get a proper broadband connection and can't get it to their homes. So the government really have to look at the contract that was signed with the service provider and what mechanisms are there to hold them to the targets that were set out in the plan.
Weather now rather cold today with frost clearing to leave a day of sunshine and showers. Many of the showers will be wintry in nature with hail, sleet and some snow. Highest temperatures of 6 to 9 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with news again at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
COVID-19 can still cause serious illness, especially in people at higher risk. We need to keep protecting each other. So stay home if you have symptoms. Wear a mask in healthcare settings, public transport and busy places. Let fresh air in if you're meeting indoors. Keep hands clean. And get a COVID-19 vaccine and booster. Let's keep looking out for each other. From the HSE, for us all.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Now offering MyCU current account and debit MasterCard. Bringing full banking features. Delivered with the same local trustworthy service of your credit union. And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to noon show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. It is Friday the 8th of April, 4 minutes past 9, and it's another edition of the 9 till noon show. Our Friday panel joining us. I'll introduce them to you very shortly. But get involved in the conversation yourself as well. It's fully interactive. WhatsApps and texts 086 60 25,000. Your calls to Caroline on 07491 25,000. Later on at around about 11:30, we're going to be giving away €1,000 in cash. If you want to be within a chance of winning, you have to enter our €15,000 mega holiday giveaway. You can get the details of that on our website, highlandradio.com, and to be in with a chance of winning the €1,000, you need to enter that by 11. I'll tell you more about that a little later on. But on to the business of the Friday panel. We say good morning, firstly, and welcome onto the show, Dr. Kieran O'Farah, GP. Good morning, Kieran. Thank you very much for joining us.
Morning, Greg. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you with us. We also welcome onto the programme Professor Pat O'Connor, Professor of Sociology and Social Policy at Limerick University. Good morning to you, Professor.
Good morning, Craig.
Great to see you again. And last but not least, Senator Niall Blaney, Fianna Fáil's spokesperson on Northern Ireland. Good morning, Niall.
Morning, Greg.
Great to have you with us. I might start with you, Professor O'Connor, if that's okay. One of the big stories this week is the news that Tony Holohan is moving from the Department of Health to Trinity College. There's a bit of controversy, particularly, I think, with how this move was announced, the circumstances around it, the fact that the Department of Health is going to pay his wages, and now we learn that he's going to be earning $30,000 more than other professors at Trinity College. I'm not sure what they might think of that. What do you think of this move? Firstly, do you believe, as the government does, that it's good for the country? Secondly, Professor, how do you think it's been handled? Oh, she's gone. Right, I'll go to you first on this one, Niall, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure, Greg. Maybe I'll take the last part of your question first. How has it been handled? I don't think it's been handled that well. The appointment has been made, and when you make appointments like this and don't make any explanation, it makes it very difficult for people like me to come along and get a little bit of background on the situation. And I suppose if we revise a little bit first in relation to Tony Holohan, it's not that long ago that he was here in this country. I personally know Tony Holohan for quite some time, but that really doesn't come into this situation. It's basically about the post involved. As I'm told it, he's extremely well qualified for this position.
Does he have a background in teaching, lecturing? Does he have all the qualifications that his fellow professors at Trinity would have in that regard, I wonder?
Well, I think the teaching and lecturing part of it isn't the I suppose the point around lecturing. It's about being competent in the area that you're lecturing in. There's nobody more competent in infectious diseases. And moreover, Greg, there's nobody more competent when it comes to making decisions, proper decisions, maybe decisions when it's not written in a book where you have to make calls yourself.
Yeah, but it's not going to need that decision making. I mean, that's not a tick in the box for this job, is it?
Yeah, what he is bringing to the table, this isn't just a lecturing job. It's research into infectious diseases on the back of all that he has brought to the table as the medical professional he is, but moreover, what he brings to the table in relation to infectious diseases, the experience he's had over the last 2+ years.
But he did.
Bringing I can conclude, Greg.
Yeah, but
bringing that to the table and having the proper structures put in place and having these types of diseases properly researched.
That's fantastic, and he obviously is passionate about that, as is the Department of Health, because they, in conjunction with the Trinity College, created this position for him. There wasn't a vacancy going. I'm not sure there was a full round of interviews. Trinity College were approached offering this. I mean, is that proper order?
I suppose people see things like this and the way it's done. It's not proper order for any job, Greg. But this is done properly. It'd be advertised and it'd be done that way. But, Robert Watts has come in to a job of late and has brought a whole lot of scrutiny around how these things are handled. We should have learned from that position. And now Robert Watts is involved in this as well. And personally, I don't like the way he generally approaches things.
Well, his appointment is kind of similar too, isn't it?
Apart from his appointment, his approach to doing things like this is not what it needs to be and not what it should be for a professional in his position. I would like to see this whole position with Tony Holohan done in a more professional manner. I had no doubt he would come out the other end of it because of what he brings to the table. Moreover, he'd be sitting on his job for the next 15 years anyway, if he wanted to Greg. But for me, it's what him being in that position.
Say for instance, I was guaranteed a job here at Highland Radio for the next 15 years, all right, but I didn't fancy doing it anymore. I felt like, right, you know what, I've achieved all I can achieve here. What would normally happen is I'd hand in my notice and I would go and apply for other jobs, compete with other people. But what he's done, and what has happened with him, he feels perhaps maybe he's achieved everything he can as CMO. but then a new role is created for him in Trinity College, to which he just moves across under the same terms and conditions to be able to sit for another 15 years earning the type of money he is, to be going in there €30,000 more than other professors. And let's not forget, Trinity is bound by the public service pay scales as well, though there are exceptions, of course. This is not normal. To say that he could have just sat it. And what is effectively going to happen is the Department of Health are going to be paying €187,000 twice for two CMOs effectively, when one is over at Trinity, which has some private funding as well. I mean, there's a lot more wrong with this than just with how it's handled, surely.
It's not right, but it's not just as you portrayed it at the start. Tony Holohan didn't decide to do this. There's people in the Department of Health on the back of what happened over the last 2 years decided this post should be put in place. And they decided that Tony Holohan is the man for the job, seemingly without a process. And that's the difficulty for me. I have no illusion that Tony Holohan is the man for the job. Moreover,
how do we know, with all due respect to you, Senator, without a proper... Because I heard Stephen Donnelly saying the same, that no one is more qualified for this job than Tony Holohan. Without a proper process of advertising a position to see what other people might bring to the table, how do we know that? How do we know, for example, that that there wasn't 30 more female people that could have been good members of NEFIT? We don't know. They were appointed, and it was very, 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 very male centric. Like, how do we? You say that as if it is a fact. How do we know that he's the best person for the job when this job is not advertised? The criteria is not advertised. Maybe there's international candidates there that might come in and do it for €140,000 or 150. We don't know. You say something as if it is a fact. We don't know that.
Well, Greg, I suppose we all say things as if they're facts when actually it's a personal opinion. It's my personal opinion that I don't believe there'll be a candidate out there. But I'm agreeing with you. There should be a process. There should be a process for every job. It shouldn't be appointed the way it is. I'm agreeing with you. But it's not something that Tony Holohan has come along and said, I want that job and put me in there.
He did mould it to what he believed it should be to some extent as well, though. I think that's pretty much on the public record.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure, and I can't.
Do you believe that the appointment should go ahead?
I would like to see a process in place to do all these positions in a manner that's fit for purpose and that is full transparency. I don't believe appointing people the way we're doing it is the way to go in the current climate, the current age we're in.
Okay. I want to get Dr. Kieran O'Farrell's opinion on this as well. Kieran, what do you think?
I take issue with some of what's happened here as well. I think, number one, we all recognise the good work and the hard work that Dr. Holohan has done over the last 2 years, and you'd hate to see a good man taken down now at the end of all that. But I think there are a lot of questions about this. At the minute, there's a lot of change happening in the discipline of public health. It's trying to be moved up. We're having doctors appointed as consultants in public health medicine, and obviously as chief medical officer and being part of that public health, I think Dr. Holohan probably saw that having somebody of his stature maybe and his experience taking up a role in a prestigious university would probably help to drive public health in the country. And I think there's definitely benefit for the country in having somebody with his experience in a role that involves research and hopefully will continue to develop public health for our good. But at the same time, this is a role within a university. To me, it brings back the, I suppose, drip of information that had to be pulled out at every step. And, I think for a university like Trinity College, I'm sure they would have been only delighted to have somebody of the calibre of Tony Holohan come into a professor job. But I don't see why the Department of Health has to be funding that on an open-ended basis, and it does seem a little bit like a golden handshake or a job for the boys type thing, and that's the bit that I would take issue with.
Does this, you talk about, and both of you speak very highly of Dr. Tony Holohan, and I'm not speaking highly of him, but he is part of this as well. He knew how this was going to play out. does that then raise questions as to his judgment if he did not see what was how this was going to be handled and how it might be perceived?
I did hear a statement from the Department of Health yesterday saying that the logistics of the finance of this was still to be worked out between the department and Trinity College. I don't know if that's a little bit of a rollback from where it came from earlier in the week, but I think the funding of it is the big issue more than anything else, and I think that's the bit that most people will take a bit of issue with. Why does the Department of Health have to fund this role? If they had come out in the initial statement and said the Department of Health have decided that the development of public health within this country is really important, we want to see somebody with strong credentials taking on an international role, a professorial job within Trinity College, which will hopefully promote public health in the country, will attract young doctors into this speciality, and the Department of Health has decided that the funding of that is important for the development of public health. I think there'd be very little said about this. I think it's the way it was said. There was this announcement that he's retiring as CMO and taking a job in Trinity College, when it's very different from that, in fact. And this has been the whole idea of this came from the Department of Health. I think that information should have been clearly put out into the public domain at the start. And, Robert Watt, as Secretary General, is central in this, and he hasn't been shy of controversy since his own appointment in the role.
In terms of, I am sure that the Minister or Cabinet don't sign off on all of these type of decisions, but given the person that we're talking about, his profile and the position he was taking on, what does it say that Stephen Donnelly was not consulted on this at all? He actually really read about it in the newspapers. Is that a civil service that believes they're a law unto themselves, or does it question maybe the respect they might have for Stephen Donnelly as health minister?
Yeah, I saw he welcomed it strongly on Twitter when it was announced initially, and it seems like he was almost unaware of the nitty-gritty of what was involved here. I suppose that's a question of how much a minister needs to know, but I think if the lead medic in the Department of Health, who's been so kind of in the public domain over the last 2 years, was moving jobs, it does beg belief that the minister wouldn't be aware of the minutiae of that and wouldn't have been consulted about it.
Again, Niall, someone from within government, within the corridors of power, so to speak, here we are again talking about a situation that should not be as controversial as it is if the messaging, if the communication was at a level where it should be at. And it's one thing after another. It's not necessarily the decisions, it's how they're communicated. I mean, you must have an insight as to what these mostly former journalists and other advisors to the government, like, what do they actually do? Should they not be ran out of town? I mean, they should know better than this, or what's the story?
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of them.
I'm not going in that trap.
Why not? It's not a trap.
I wouldn't paint them all with a brush. But if we get back to the issue in relation to the appointment, the minister not knowing about it, and the Taoiseach not knowing about it, and I think this comes back to the word Robert Watt, and it says a lot about his personality, and we're starting to see traits of his personality. I don't think it's good for the Department of Health. I don't think his attitude towards doing these things is good for proper governance in the Department of Health and government as a whole. And I think he has questions to answer here, and he can't keep continuing in the same vein that he has done, where he just goes off and does these things and feels he has the authority to do it.
It sounds to me a little bit like you have no confidence in him.
I don't like his style, Greg. I think he's a capable individual, but I feel there's a sense of arrogance there that's not going to augur well for the Department of Health or any minister or Taoiseach of today.
Professor Pat O'Connor is back with us. Pat, good morning. Don't do that to me, Pat.
Apologies. No, the internet dropped, and it's currently unstable. I'm running it off the phone, and I'm not a techie.
Well, so, you know what? You've done a pretty good job. So we'll crack on whilst we have you, if that's okay. We've been listening to Kieran and Niall over Tony Holohan's appointment. Yes. You won't have been privy, I don't think, to some of their comments. But what's your take on firstly the appointment and maybe how it's been handled, Pat?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm really interested to say a few words on this. I think it shows really a HR issue being extremely badly handled by the highest paid civil servant in the country, who has taken 4 days to admit he made that decision. I'm talking about the Secretary General of the Department of Health. I mean, in a way, clearly there was a HR issue, but actually solving it by having the taxpayer pick up a bill for an indefinite period of time for 180,000 a year is not, to my mind, adequate performance as a manager. Not telling your boss, i.e. the Minister for Health, is also extraordinary and does suggest a degree of extraordinary arrogance and failure to recognise line management on the part of the Secretary General. The second crazy thing is the fact that Trinity has said that this sort of appointment is normal. Well, hello, right? Professorships, which are at the top of the academic hierarchy, are extremely competitively fought mostly. 3/4 of those in those positions are men, and we are told, and I am a full professor, we are told that these positions are on the basis of merit. Well, hello, merit implies a competition on the basis of excellence. People apply, their CV is vetted. To simply get sorted by getting a professorship in Trinity, it's like giving out sweeties to a children.
And to presume that he is the best person for the job ignores an awful lot of variables. Of course, he's had a huge profile for the last couple of years, but to presume that he is the man for the job, does it damage the whole professorship system?
Well, it certainly is not. I mean, if Trinity is correct that this is normal in Trinity, I'd like to know how many other appointments have been given without competition, and I'd like to know the gender profile of those competitions. Because certainly, in my experience, this is not good practice. If it happens, it is not appropriate. Like, it's different to, people can get mixed up. There are things called honorary positions, right? Honorary professorships, where it's like getting a gold medal. You get no money. You're simply entitled to use the designation professor. This is totally different. He's basically got a full professorship. Now, the fact that Trinity, although seeing him as so eminently qualified that there's no need for a competition, is actually not paying him is a further extraordinary thing. Like, the Department of Health is paying him now, and this is not a secondment, as everybody has.
Well, secondment's a temporary. I mean, I'm trying to avoid that word. This is a transfer.
Exactly, but yet, the Taoiseach has come out and called it a secondment. A secondment is a temporary arrangement. Dr. Houlihan has said very clearly he's not going back. So, to my mind, this is a cronyistic little solution to a HR issue, and it is, I'm afraid, between men. And
is it unusual for a role to just be created, for a particular individual? Is that normal?
Well, it's in the worst tradition of looking after your friends, right? And overwhelmingly, I have seen it happen. This is a gendered solution, inverted commas, to a management problem. But it is completely unacceptable and does no credit to the Department of Health, Trinity College, or anywhere else.
What do you think other professors might think with Tony Houlihan coming into this created position, pulling in an extra 30k, which, and we bandy these figures around. Let me say, the majority of people, or at least a large amount of people in Donegal, do not take that 30k home in a year. They'd be very, very lucky to do so. That I would actually say it's probably the majority. And yeah, that is the difference between his wage and others' professors' wages. How do you think that will go down? Is that justifiable?
Of course it isn't. And I mean, in a way, what is also so crazy is that the whole question as to, you can be an excellent CMO, but that does not mean that you have the skills to do research or to teach. I mean, in a way. And in fact, he has said that, he's in a position to say how health strategy should be done in Ireland. Some people remember that the CMO is not only responsible for COVID, but he also was responsible for the handling of the cervical smear.
Well, you see, the thing that happens here is often you don't hear that from guests that we would invite onto the airwaves, but that's what's coming through in the text machine. People are saying, do people forget that? One final question. I mean, to become a professor, a teaching professor, I think he has some element of teaching. Do you not have to have, a certain amount of experience in that regard to be elevated to, professorship in a teaching role? Yes, we can understand what he can bring to the research and all that, but I would have thought to get to the top echelon, the top part. Yeah. Let's just go with that one. I'm not going to try and get my tongue around the other word. That there has to be criteria met. There has to be a certain amount of air miles if you were to be a pilot, for example.
Well, I mean, one of the other peculiar things is that Irish higher education has got into the habit of overvaluing research and undervaluing teaching, partly for all sorts of complicated reasons, and driven by really global rankings and things like that. So in a way, there is no specific sort of saying you have to be X, Y, and Z. But normally a professorial competition, which is like, perhaps for your listeners, it's useful to say, like there are steps on the ladder. You can spend a long time before you get at the bottom rung, which is lecturer, and then senior lecturer, associate professor, professor. It takes about 25 to 30 years to go from your PhD, which is often followed by a postdoc, which can be up to, like, your undergraduate is 4 years, your PhD is 4 years, then you could do a postdoc 2 or 3 years. You're talking 11 or 12 years before you get started on this 25 to 30 year ladder.
Right,
and somebody walks in.
I'd have Robert Watt and speed dial with that with those hoops that have to be jumped through. Before we take a break and move on to our next topic, then, Dr. Kieran, what do you think would be the appropriate next move now? It's not going to peter out because Robert Watt's going to be called after Easter into a committee. So this story is not just going to go away, even if there are those that wish it should. But what do you think now be an appropriate move, proportional?
Just as a little bit of a background, I think within clinical medicine, there's a slightly different way where professors come about.
Okay.
And, most of them would come from kind of a level of experience and work, and that would have been my experience. And if through college, I think the funding of this is at the crux of the issue. And if Trinity College came out and said, okay, we really value this professor, we're glad to have him, we think we should fund it, I think that would probably draw a line under it.
Yeah. Senator Blaney, the same question to you.
Sorry, Greg, I was cut out for a second.
That's all right. Now the question, sorry, that's okay. I understand. The question was what needs to happen next then? What would be a proportionate response to sort of address, I suppose, public anger or disquiet, but also the best for, for everyone, really? What do you think is an appropriate move at this point?
Well, I think an appropriate move would be to spell out exactly what his role will be in the position within Trinity. Spelling out the time he's going to spend on research and the time he's going to spend on actually lecturing. I don't have an issue with the Department of Health seeking out and paying a fee towards research that's very much needed in the area of public health, and particularly in relation to the pandemic. Don't have a problem with that. But again, it's the appointment and the process. And I heard very clearly what Professor Geary said there, and I think she's raised a lot of very good questions this morning that need to be answered as well.
Yeah, Professor O'Connor, I do wonder if this were publicly advertised, would Tony Hoolan apply for it in competition with any other people? I don't know the answer to that question. But finally, from you then, what do you believe would be an appropriate action now off the back of what has unfolded over the last couple of days, Pat?
Well, I do think that, at the very least, Trinity should advertise the position and spell out its responsibilities. Now, bearing in mind that it smacks of what I call a fit-up, right? I.e. the criteria. We have been told by Tony Holohan that his fingers are on the definition of the role. And so, really, in a way, we know that Tony Holohan will get it, even if it's publicly
So
advertised.
this is like if they advertised a job for a middle-aged balding man with a beard from Lahey. It might give me an unfair advantage. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Effectively for a former CEO, but it would at least, following Neil's point, it would at least indicate what exactly the role is. Right? It looks like a bit of a sinecure where Tony Holohan will have the opportunity to justify his actions as CMO. And really that requires an independent investigation. He did some excellent things, but some of his decisions, for example, even in COVID, around masks were extraordinary. Right, and wrong, as subsequently emerged.
But it also, on that, he's of the view that masks would make no difference currently. I think that's probably the last big decision he's made. But that is at odds with the INMO and its members. It's at odds with the Emergency Department Task Force and another large group. Now, I'm not saying who's right or wrong, but that was the last big decision, as far as I'm aware, that he made. But it is contrary, seemingly, to what an awful lot of people who actually work on the front line would want.
And he was very slow to introduce masking. But anyway, you should never really investigate your own actions, because in a way we all like to think we're, making good decisions.
Okay.
We're doing the best we can.
All right.
So really, I also think Robert Watt has a few questions to answer. And not least of which is the fact that he has shown an arrogance in terms of insisting on Robert Watt is paid something like I can't remember the exact figure, but he insisted on taking his 80,000 more.
I think it's 300 now, but he's due another pay rise shortly, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but be that as may, he's paid more than any other Secretary General. And is the reason why he's taking so much is because he's willing to show an arrogance and an indifference to accountability. Well, I'm sorry, I don't think those are good criteria for Secretary Generals.
Okay, the voice there of Professor Pat O'Connor, Professor of Sociology and Social Policy at Limerick University. We also have with us GP Dr. Ciarán O'Farrill and, of course, Senator Niall Blaney, Fianna Fáil spokesperson on Northern Ireland. More from them and your comments coming into us as well after we take a break.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Sean wanted to redecorate his hall, so visited his local Crown Decorating Centre, where he got top quality brands and everything he needed to do the job better, which really brought out his creative side. So he lobbed his leftover paint on an old canvas and sent it to auction. Teal Splodge sold last week for €40,000. Coincidence? We don't think so. You see, everything's better when you visit Crown Decorating Centres. It's not just paint, it's personal.
Clear Mobile has 99% 4G population coverage. So where are people going?
Out west with 4 bars and all.
Dublin, outside of Dublin.
Longford, Waterford, all the Fords.
There you go. This April, choose great coverage with unlimited calls, texts and data from $12.99 a month. Clearmobile.ie. You clear? They are. 30-day contract. Activation fee and fair usage applies. Max data speed 5 megabits per second. $12.99 subject to eligibility. Ends 30th of April 2022. See clearmobile.ie for terms.
All ready for next year? Why not make sure of it with SEAT? Trade up to a 221 SEAT SUV and you'll be offered PCP finance from 1.9% and a 3-year service plan for just $9.99 a month. With the bold new Arona, the stylish new Ateca, or the outstanding 7-seater Tarraco, we're all ready. Are you? Trade up to your 221 SEAT SUV at DMG Motors, Claw Road, Donegal Town. Finance provided by way of hire purchase agreement from Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland, trading as SEAT Financial Services. Subject to lending criteria. Terms and conditions apply. Visit seat.ie/221 for further information.
Flanagan's massive half-price store clear-out sale is now on in Buncrana. 50% off Irish-made sofas, tables, beds, wardrobes, rugs and occasional furniture. Pay today and take it away. Furnish your home for half price. Don't miss out. www.flanagans.ie.
At Centra, we have great offers, like Centra Extra Lean Mints, 330 gram, only €3. Pringles Selected Range, 165 gram, €1.50 each. And in our Italian wine sale, San Valentino Pinot Grigio, better than half price, only €7. Centra, live every day. Enjoy, call sensibly.
Now, I would say this is the biggest story locally this week, and one that should be a big story nationally. It's in the context of an open public meeting. It's taking place in Killybegs this weekend over an ongoing fish weighing controversy at the port. It comes as the Irish Fishing and Seafood Alliance has stated that the fishing industry in Killybegs is in crisis. Now, what's happening is fish are being turned away from the port by the SFPA, who are taking... it's how they want the fish weighed. And it centres around blue whiting, and if they are landed out of water, they effectively, they weaken under their own weight and be good only for fish meal. But if they're landed in water, they can go into the human food chain by way of fish fingers and all that type of stuff, particularly for the African market. But when a couple of boats landed at Killybegs, they were said, look, you have to drain the water out for us to weigh these fish, and the skippers turned on their heels and headed out. One went back to Denmark, I believe. The other went to Derry because a processor had bought the fish, went to Derry. The fish were unloaded in the water at Derry, put into lorries, and transported to Killybegs to be processed. That's where we're at right now. I'll start with you, Senator Niall Blaney. I haven't heard much from Minister Charlie McConalogue on this. My understanding is he might feel that this would be akin to, the Justice Minister getting involved in, elements of policing. To a lot of people, that's simply not good enough. But this is costing Killybegs millions upon millions, the Donegal, the county as a whole, and also lots and lots of jobs, hundreds of jobs at risk here.
Understand this, Greg, and I'm certainly no expert in this area, but as I understand it, and I had a conversation with Minister McConnell in relation to it, last year, remember, all fish were, for the last 6 months of the year, all fish were being weighed on the pier side. And a resolution to that Minister McConnell negotiated with the Commission. And it's the Commission here that decides the position here. He negotiated a temporary plan. The temporary plan meant that 5% of landings in Killybegs have to be weighed at the pier side. And the SFPA is, I suppose, like the Gardaí, they police this. And they have to use independent weighing. So there's a big issue over there in relation to a machine that's on the pier and the SFPA not using that. And I think there's a lot of I suppose, anger in relation to the SFPA. The SFPA are doing what they're being told by the Commission. They have to implement the temporary plan, and this involves the 5%. So this is over the 5% of all landings that has to be weighed. If we overcome this, they get back to the factory with the other 95%. And on the back of that, there then will be a permanent plan put in place again. So as I understand it, that's the crux of it. In relation to, as I understand it, the water content, there's issues over the weighing of fish in water, and I believe there's proposals put by the SFPA whereby a lorry come in with its water in its boxes before the fish are put into the lorry and weigh it first, and then put the fish into the boxes and establish that weigh. So it's a different way of weighing the fish, and there's arguments over how that's done.
Yeah, but it sounds very bureaucratic for no reason. I mean, these fish are being landed in other European ports in the water under the same rules, unless Ireland's being given different instructions.
There's a 2% reduction given when you do that process. The fishermen in Killybegs are arguing that 2% is not enough, as I understand it. But at the end of the day, there was no plan last year for 6 months. Everything had to be weighed on the pier side. We're looking at 5% to be weighed at the moment. If we get through that process, we then get to the position where we can try and put in place a longer term plan. And I suppose this is something that's arisen because the EU didn't they had concerns in relation to the weighing of the fish. They didn't believe they were given the full story in relation to what was being delivered at Killybegs. So this is the temporary plan on the back of that, Greg. We're talking about 5% of landings. And if we don't comply with that, it's not about the SPFA or Irish officials, it's the Commission. To get to a long-term plan, we have to get over this hurdle first.
Dr. Kieran, obviously, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the fishing industry, but I'm only learning from what I'm hearing from those involved, and we can get into the ins and outs of it and the nitty-gritties. But when you've got hundreds of people being sent home from work because there's no work for them, when you've got other companies that are afraid that they're going to go out of business because these boats aren't coming in, and it's down to whether or not fish are weighed in water or not. This is something that shouldn't be beyond us to resolve very, very quickly, because Killybegs is losing out millions.
Absolutely. I suppose the height of my expertise is that I like a fish and chips, so I'm not sure I can add too much, but it just seems a bit bizarre that fish can't land in Killybegs, but they can land in Derry and be driven over the border to factories in Killybegs. Killybegs is a huge part of the fishing industry in the country. It's really important here for Donegal, and if there's red tape like this, it should be sorted out. It shouldn't be dragging on this kind of stuff about how it's weighed and where it's weighed. If this isn't happening in other European countries, then it's just ridiculous. And heads need to be cracked together and a solution found to protect the industry, protect jobs, and make sure that one of the biggest ports in the country, and our major one here in Donegal, is protected, and that jobs are protected into the future as well. It just doesn't make any sense to me listening to the story.
Yeah, Professor O'Connor, from you. Professor Pat O'Connor, are you there? Maybe there's a technical issue with the professor. Her line is not perfect today. Okay, we do have one more quick break to take before we move on to some of your comments and our next topic. Actually, before I do, Professor O'Connor's back with me there. Professor, no, it's okay, and we understand the technical element to this here. Just a quick word from you on the Killybegs situation. No, the professor has frozen. We'll get her back in a sec.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Is your water safe to drink? If your water tastes unpleasant or has a foul smell, it may be a sign that something is in your water. Brothers Tech Donegal provide a complete private well water treatment service using the best water treatment equipment to meet your needs. Or maybe you drilled a new well and the water isn't satisfactory. At Brothers Tech, their expert team will also service existing problematic systems. If you're concerned about the quality of your water, call Brothers Tech on 087 638 7057.
Longcom has an exclusive beauty gift waiting just for you at McGee's Pharmacy in Letterkenny. Simply purchase 2 Longcom products, one to be skincare, and receive your free 6-piece gift containing a full-size Tonique Comfort Toner, a choice of either Hydrazine or Absolute day and night travel size creams, plus more of your favourite iconic Longcom products. Available for 1 more week or while stocks last. T's and C's apply at McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny.
At Creaseless Supermarket, we offer daily specials at our deli with fresh and delicious food to go. Avail of our butcher's weekly specials or choose from a range of healthy options and pre-packed meals, plus many more offers in store. We're open 7 days for your convenience. Creaseless Supermarket, where quality and value is assured.
This Sunday, the Donegal ladies are off to Croke Park. Maxi Curran's side face off against the All-Ireland champions Meath at GAA headquarters in the National League Division 1 final. Join the Highland Radio team for full live match commentary on air from the 4 o'clock throw-in and online at highlandradio.com. Coverage is brought to you by Henry McGinley & Sons Limited Milford, specialising in structural steelwork, cladding and PVC roof systems. Call for a quote on 9153181.
For all those who like being together.
Let's go to the beach, everyone.
And leave no one behind.
Should we go get Julie?
With 7 modular seats, there's room for everyone in the all-new Dacia Jogger. On the road for just €7 per day. See for yourself at our Dacia Jogger launch event. 7 to 9th of April at Highland Motors Letterkenny. Bigger, cooler, jogger. Terms and conditions apply, subject to lending criteria. Payments drawn monthly. See dacia.ie.
Okay, you're welcome back to the 9 till noon show. We're still in the company of our Friday panel. Some news emerging during our conversation. The Taoiseach has called for the secondment of the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Tony Hullen, to Trinity College Dublin to be paused pending a reassessment. The government is due to receive a report on the process around the appointment next week. A quick comment from you, Senator Blaney. That's quite a significant intervention from the Taoiseach on the face of it.
Greg, and I wasn't aware of it, but I welcome it, obviously. Absolutely welcome it. And I think there's, like every public position, there needs to be clarity and proper governance over how people are appointed.
Yeah. All right. Dr. Kieran, do you want a quick word on that yourself?
I think it probably shows that they were blindsided a bit by this and suddenly being dragged into a bad news story that they don't want. And, I think it's reasonable that they have to reassess this now, looking at the public opinion that's out there on this.
Yeah, okay. And the professor, as we know from the top of the show, Professor Pat O'Connor, having technical issues. We hope she can rejoin us before 10, because I do enjoy listening to what she has to say and taking on board her opinions. It's being discussed at council level and it's being discussed at national level, and that is the ongoing housing crises. Obviously, we were in a housing crisis already. That's been exacerbated by the arrival of Ukrainian refugees. And I'm not saying it's their fault, by the way. I'm just saying we are doing what we're our international responsibility and our humanitarian responsibility. But of course, people need roofs over their heads. They need to see a GP as well, and they need to people need to go into schools. So there's much more beyond housing. Dr. Kieran O'Ferry, talking of log cabins as solutions locally, and even some word of that nationally, or wooden houses. I don't know how much they cost, how practical that is, but it would be a difficult one at the moment, I think, to try and fix the pressure we have for housing in this country.
Absolutely, I think we all feel for Ukrainian refugees at the moment, and I've had some personal experience of seeing them on their travels recently. A family with a small baby and coming with absolutely nothing. As GP practices, we've all said we're willing to accept them, and I know lots of the practices in Letterkenny have been working hard to facilitate kind of urgent medical care for those newly arrived refugees. Housing is a much bigger issue, and obviously as a young man with a family, what I see is that we just don't seem to be building any houses. I live in Letterkenny. There just doesn't seem to be any houses coming on the market, whether that's social houses or private houses. And, we're obviously going to be in a housing crisis if we're just not building any houses for people. I've a sister living in Dublin who's been trying to get accommodation, and the price that she has to pay for rent up there is just absolutely shocking, far beyond what I have to pay for my mortgage every month. And it makes it very difficult then for people to get onto the housing ladder. So there's a huge issue, and to me it comes down to that we're just not building enough houses. I grew up in Donegal, where plenty of people lived in houses that were built by the county council, whether that be on their own land or in towns and villages around the county. And again, that just doesn't seem to be happening. So we're not providing social houses for people, and we're not providing private houses for people, and that then leaves us in a situation where there just isn't enough houses for people out there.
And that is to buy. There's also obviously a huge issue in terms of rental property, the availability of it.
Absolutely, and we all know what's coming down the road with Micah here in Donegal and the difficulties that's going to create. I keep an eye on Daft and look at what's coming up for rent, and there's very, very little. I'm in a situation myself where I have a house with Micah, and I don't know what's around the corner, and when that happens, where are we going to live? Because there's very little out there and available for people when that comes to pass. So there's difficult times ahead for the county, I think.
Yeah, Senator Blaney, what do you think? I mean, obviously, the housing minister will say that there's a plan to 2030, that they're hoping to deliver on that. I mean, that's what their government line is, of course. But I mean, we know on the ground it's a big county, but we know how many houses are being built, and it's nowhere near close to the demand.
Yeah, and I suppose we're coming from a situation, Greg, where there was very little activity up to very recently in relation to the building of houses, and we're also coming from a situation where, traditionally over the decades, when there was lots of houses built in this country, it was done with a very good housing department in every local authority. That was lost, so we're rebuilding that now. The council are confident of obtaining 250 units per year plus over the next 5 to 10 years. Within the county, and that'll be great to see. I think all that can be done at an Oireachtas level is being done. But
in terms of that, though, I mean, you talked about 250 houses. Let's just say the MICA scheme were to pick up pace, and 1,000 houses were okay for demolition, and those within them wanting to progress that. In the space of a couple of weeks, we could be maxing out 4 years of house building. Now, I know these houses are not designed for temporary accommodation for those affected by MICA, but it's all the same pressure on the housing system. We're talking about log cabin villages effectively. Do you think that's realistic? Personally, I can't imagine us ever seeing that anywhere in Donegal.
You're hitting the point. You're hitting the point. The next point I was going to make in relation to the builders. We've lost the Brenton Gildays of this world. We've lost our builders of old. So part of the process is getting the new developers of tomorrow, the new builders. And some of the things we've been talking to people, the likes of the county manager, the Leo office, and Dara Bryan, is about getting a course. There's lots of courses for trades, but there's no course out there to create that developer builder of tomorrow with a proper know-how. And I think Donegal is loads of lands that has the ability, but just don't have the know-how or the confidence to take that next step.
But you're talking maybe medium term. What about immediately, though? What about the immediate need? What do we do?
This is something that we hope that it'll be in place in the not too long distant future. Within a number of months, we'd like to see it up and running. It's in its infancy. But there's lots of steps that are happening behind the scenes to try and build the confidence again within that market and within that industry.
Yeah, Kieran, I'll put the question, what do we do in the immediate term? There's an immediate need out there. There literally is no rooms, or going to be no rooms available for either the Ukrainian refugees or those that were already trying to secure housing by the end of this month.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the Ukrainian refugees, I suppose we have to recognise that that's an emergency issue, and we can't expect to have perfect solutions for that. But we have to put some plans in place.
But with that in mind either, Kieran, we can't expect this to be a 3-month thing. We're signing contracts with hotels for 3 months. I presume those hotels will not want those rooms back for the summer market unless they're being very well. I think the county needs these rooms to be available as well. So we are having to look at to deal with the Ukrainian refugees. I think we have to be looking, through 2022 into 2023.
Yeah, I suppose in the short term, you'd have to think lots of students are about to finish their colleges. There are lots of campus accommodation, things like that could potentially be used in the very short term over the next number of months. But I think it's going to come down to halls, tented villages. This is an emergency situation. We just don't have the space, and it's going to put a huge strain on us. Like other European countries, we see Poland taking in millions of refugees. This is our duty. We have to look after these people. They're in their hour of need. There's no choice there. There's no them or us. But I think the solutions for it are going to be far from perfect, and I'd like to see the government looking ahead now and trying to make sure that we have some sort of accommodation available for people as they come over the next number of weeks.
Yeah, and I suppose for the reasons Kieran outlined there, Niall, it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be, a safe refuge. It's not going to be a turnkey for everyone that requires one. We are going to be and already are looking at, warehouses, tented villages, etc.
Yeah, safety is of the utmost importance here, and particularly where there's probably kids involved, Greg. But ultimately, not all these Ukrainian immigrants want to come in here and sit in their hands. A lot of them are professionals. Some of them, if they want to stay here on a longer term basis, and maybe their homes are gone for good, maybe they want to become an Irish citizen.
And hopefully, if they do, because there's a massive need. Of course, there's a massive need. But there's a massive need for workers, say, for instance, in hospitality. I hope they're paid the proper wages, because it could have a knock-on effect on sort of the wage structures in this country as well if they aren't properly rewarded for the work that they're doing. So there's no exploitation there, because of course that wouldn't be fair on them, but it would also have a negative impact sort of on wage structures in that industry potentially across the country.
Yeah, and that's one sector. A lot of these people coming here are
professionals.
Nurse professionals, absolutely.
So
it's important that there's a transition into society as quickly as possible. They don't all have to be housed long term.
All right. Sorry, Niall. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's been nice having you on the programme. I appreciate it. Okay, that's Senator Niall Blaney. And also, thank you very much for joining us. It's great to hear your views on a wide range of subjects. Kieran, thank you very much for joining us as well.
Thanks very much, Greg.
Okay,
nice
lovely to have you. No, it's our pleasure. Dr. Kieran O'Farry there. And unfortunately, we just didn't hear as much of Professor Pat O'Connor as we would have liked. She's a professor of sociology and social policy at the Limerick University, but unfortunately having connection issues on her end. But we did get to hear her views on Dr. Tony Hoolan's appointment, and I think giving her job particularly informed. And just to recap on that news emerging this morning, the Taoiseach Micheál Martin has called for the secondment, or the switch. It's not a secondment. Secondments are temporary. For the transfer of Chief Medical Officer Dr. Tony Holohan from the Department of Health to Trinity College Dublin. He wants it paused pending an assessment, and the government's due to receive a report on the process around the appointment next week. Of course, there's anger at Cabinet around the move, which will see Dr. Tony Holohan paid his existing salary by the state, 187 grand, despite taking up a new job. Speaking in Helsinki, Micheál Martin said there has to be full transparency about the move. Okay, you are tuned to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. We've got so much more to come on the show. Looking forward to having an old chinwag with Fionnuala and Michael talking all things entertainment, as well as giving away €1,000 in cash. That's happening at 11:30. If you want to be in with a chance to win €1,000 in this programme, John Bresson also has £1,000 to give away in his show. What you have to do is enter our €15,000 grand holiday draw. It's 10,000 of a holiday voucher to use for one dream trip, multiple trips, whatever you want to do with it. €5,000 spending money as well. If you want to be in with a chance of winning that prize, the overall prize, tickets are €10. They get cheaper the more you buy. HighlandRadio.com. Enter there. But if you do it before 11 o'clock today, then you're in the draw for those €1,000 cash prizes. All right, back with the weather and the news.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages with life cover provided at no additional cost. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Get the Irish Daily Star today for your free Aintree pull-out and sweepstake kit, with all the top tipsters in our stable ready to get you first past the post all week at the Grand National Festival. The Irish Daily Star, #1 for racing, #1 for you.
Brian McCormick, Sports and Leisure, Main Street, Letterkenny, your football destination store. If you belong on pitch, try a new pair of Adidas Predator Edge football boots, available in kids and adult sizes. Complete your kit with a pair of Murphy's gloves, available in many colours and sizes. Update your O'Neill's shorts and socks with the all-important Gum Shield. Then you're ready to compete. Look the part, play the part. In store, online. Click and collect on bmcsports.ie.
Do you suffer from heartburn or abdominal pain? Do you experience frequent constipation or diarrhea? If you need or are waiting for an endoscopy consultation, then why not come see us at Kingsbridge Private Hospital Sligo, where we provide excellence in private healthcare. We are approved by all private health insurers, and our specialised consultants are ready to see you. Avoid long journeys and longer waiting lists. Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.ie for more information. Because life matters.
Cullen's Fun Fair will be in Ebrington Square, Derry, Londonderry from Friday the 15th of April to Sunday the 24th of April. See Cullen's Amusements Facebook for Easter opening hours. Wednesday the 20th of April is Carnival Crazy Day. All rides reduced from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come along and enjoy some family fun with Ireland's largest touring fun fair, Cullen's, at Ebrington Square, Derry, Londonderry from Friday the 15th to Sunday the 24th of April.
At Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, we are now operating out of one new state-of-the-art showroom in Donegal Town. And we invite you to visit our new 5,000 square foot Donegal Town showroom to discover the latest eye-catching designs. Remember, at Cherrymore, you're dealing directly with the manufacturer, which means high-quality kitchens at factory prices. Start planning your dream kitchen or bedroom by calling Cherrymore on 074 9725 822. Cherrymore, 25 years delivering value, quality and service all over Ireland.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Get ready to hit the beach and soak up the sun by choosing flights to Alicante, Barcelona, Faro, Mallorca, Malaga and Milan this summer with Ryanair. Ireland West Airport, you're flying.
Rather cold today with frost clearing this morning to leave a day of sunshine and showers. Many of the showers will be wintry in nature with hail, sleet and some snow flurries. Highest temperatures of 6 to 9 degrees. Back with more after the news and obituary notices.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the Highland Radio News Desk. The Taoiseach has called for the secondment of Chief Medical Officer Dr Tony Holohan to Trinity College Dublin to be paused pending a reassessment. The government is due to receive a report on the process around the appointment next week. There is some anger at Cabinet about the move, which would see Dr Holohan paid his existing salary by the state despite taking up a new job. Speaking in Helsinki, Micheál Martin said there has to be full transparency around the move. The president of Ukraine says scenes like those witnessed in Busha are happening elsewhere in the country. Volodymyr Zelensky is warning the situation in a town called Bordyanka is significantly more dreadful than anything he's seen so far. Russia is denying its troops are responsible for dead civilian bodies lining the streets near Kiev. Sky's Jason Farrell is in Odessa.
People here speak Russian, they're sympathetic with Moscow, but that has changed. And I think that's the problem for the Kremlin. Well, certainly from the people I've spoken to here, they don't believe what they're hearing from the Kremlin. They do believe that war crimes are being committed.
A pre-draft public consultation on a new County Donegal development plan has commenced. People can have their say on the council's new draft plan for 2024 to 2030 until Friday, June 3rd. With more details, here's Michaela Clark.
The development plan will set out an overall strategy for the proper planning and sustainable development of Donegal from 2024 to 2030. It will focus on housing, economic development, urban regeneration, transport, water and wastewater, natural and built heritage, climate change, tourism, community and the Gaeltacht. It will also include local area plans for Buncrana and Bundoran and a settlement framework plan for Ballybofey Stranorlar, dealing exclusively with economic development opportunities arising from the 10T Priority Route Improvement Project. An issues and operations paper has been prepared for viewing online and in person at local public services centres. The public can submit formal submissions through a dedicated website at donegaldevplan.ie by emailing donegaldevplan@donegalcoco.ie or in writing to CDP Review, Central Planning Unit, Donegal County Council, County House, Lifford.
Donegal County Council has been told the local development plan for Letterkenny is not ready to go to public consultation yet, as there are still some disagreements between members and officials. Speaking during a protracted debate at this week's council meeting, the head of planning, Liam Ward, said the Letterkenny 2040 document and the local plan should be interlinked, but some members were sceptical, saying that could limit their power to change the plan in the future. Councillor Michael McBride says two major sticking points remain. One of them, the need to develop south of the Swilly, the other to do with two potential flood zones on which officials are suggesting developments might be limited.
The local councillors feel that flood zone A and flood zone B should be kept as is, that they would be open for development. We feel it's too close to the town centre. It's beside the ATU. We feel it should be incorporated. We have a few other issues with developments out on the lake side, on the south side of the River Swilly. The councillors feel that we need a critical mass of houses out there to be able to get the services put in. We strongly feel as a council that south side of the Swilly needs development.
A Donegal deputy believes that overall faith in the electoral system needs to be strengthened. Deputy Thomas Pringle was speaking in the Dáil during statements on an electoral reform bill which is set to bring about a major modernisation about the electoral system, including making the voter registration process easier. Deputy Pringle says while much of the proposed reform is positive, there are issues to be addressed, particularly around the potential use of personal public services numbers in the electoral system.
Overall, I welcome parts of this bill and I strongly welcome the establishment of the Electoral Commission. There is no doubt that this is overdue. I hope that it will contribute to a much fairer and accurate democratic elections in this country. However, in regards to democratic concerns, I seriously hope that my concerns outlined today are taken into account, especially in regards to the PPSN concerns and my concerns around the definition of political purposes as well. As I said, this legislation is important and it's urgent, but it is absolutely vital that we get it right at this stage.
And in Buncrana, tributes have been paid to former Fianna Fáil councillor Dermot Mclaughlin following his death. Councillor Mclaughlin served as a councillor on the Buncrana Urban District Council and the Buncrana Town Council, taking the role of chair on a number of occasions. The Cathaoirleach of Donegal County Council, Councillor Jack Murray, says he leaves behind an incredible legacy stringing over 4 decades.
He was involved in political life longer than I've actually been alive, so it just goes to show just how long he's been there. But as I say, even after that, he didn't step away, he didn't go into quiet retirement. He still was extremely active and he still spent so much of his time for the betterment of the local community, and no doubt that'll be remembered for generations to come, and his legacy will live large in Buncrana.
Weather forecast now, and Met Éireann tell us it will be rather cold with frost clearing this morning. That'll leave a day of sunshine and showers. Many of those showers wintry in nature with hail, sleet and possibly some snow flurries. Highest temperature 6 to 9 degrees Celsius. Temperatures dropping to just 2 or 3 degrees in the showers. Moderate to fresh north or northwest breezes. Gusty around the showers. Tonight we'll see some wintry showers continue, but long dry periods will develop. It'll stay cold with frost and ice forming in places. Some fog patches as well, with minimum temperatures of -2 to 0 degrees in light northwest or variable winds. Any frost and fog patches will clear tomorrow morning, leaving a predominantly dry day. Long sunny spells during the morning, but cloud will build in places in the afternoon. A few light showers developing. Maximum temperatures tomorrow 7 to 9 degrees Celsius with light northwest or variable winds. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with more at 11 o'clock.
The obituary notice is for this Friday morning, April the 8th. The death has taken place of Bernard Bernie McLean, Main Street, Glenties. Bernie's remains will repose at Chauvelin's funeral home, Sandfield Ardra, this afternoon from 12:30, with removal at 1:30 going to his residence. Removal from his home on Sunday morning going to St Connell's Church, Glenties, for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, with burial afterwards in the local cemetery. Family time tonight from 9 o'clock until 12 noon tomorrow. Family time tomorrow night from 9 o'clock until 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of desired to Killybegs Community Hospital, care of James McGuinness and Sons Funeral Directors. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Nolene Fury, née Malloy, Curran, Fintown, County Donegal. Nolene will repose at her home from 11 o'clock this morning. Funeral Mass at 2:30 on Sunday afternoon in St Columkille's Chapel, Fintown, with burial afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. The funeral mass can be viewed on the Chapel Columkill Nifa Ballinafinia Facebook page. Rosary at 9 o'clock nightly. House private to family and neighbours on the morning of the funeral. The death has occurred of Philip McHugh, 105 Scrahy Road, Castlederg. Philip's remains will repose at his late home from 12 noon today. Funeral from his late home on Sunday at 12 noon for Mass at 12:30 in St Joseph's Church, Letcher-Cran. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. The house is private to family and close friends. The death has occurred in London, England, of Margaret McLaughlin, Rye, London and Isle of Doe, Clonmany. Her remains will arrive at the Bridgend border this evening at approximately 6 o'clock, going to her home in Isle of Doe. Funeral from there on Monday morning at 10:20, going to St Mary's Church, Clonmany, for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, with interment afterwards in the new cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations if desired to In Loving Memory of Margaret Ann McLaughlin Rye, fundraise cancerresearchuk.org, care of McFeely Funeral Directors. Family time from 10 p.m. until 11 a.m. Margaret's funeral mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Dermot Mclaughlin, 54 Upper Main Street, West End, Buncrana. His remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 9:15, going to St Mary's Oratory for 10 o'clock Requiem Mass with burial afterwards in Cockhill Cemetery. The death has taken place of Anna Wallace, née Holmes, Glencar Road, Letterkenny, and formerly Maharamore, Manor Cunningham and Dromahal. Anna's remains will be reposing at the Eternal Light Chapel of Rest this evening from 5:30 until 7 o'clock, with removal directly afterwards to her home at Glencar Road. House private to family only, please. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, going to St Columba's Church, Dromahal for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass. Interment afterwards in Comwall Cemetery, Letterkenny. The death has taken place of Gretty McMonigal, née Hanrahan, Creve Smith, Letterkenny, and formerly of Fecal, County Clare. Gretty's remains are reposing at her late residence. Funeral from there tomorrow morning for Mass at 11 o'clock in St Junan's Cathedral, followed by cremation in Lakelands at Crematorium, County Cavan. The funeral Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Family flowers only, donations to the Donegal Hospice, Letterkenny, care of any family member. Family time from 9 p.m. until 11 a.m. And the death has taken place of Mary McGinley, née Smith, Carlsruhe, Germany, and formerly of Kilternan, County Dublin. Funeral leaving Quigley's Funeral Home, Strabane, tomorrow morning at 10:30 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Murlough, Lifford at 11 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Okay, you're very welcome back to Friday's 9 till noon show. How are you? Anything nice planned for the weekend? Let us know. Share 086 60 25,000 WhatsApps and texts, or give us a call on 07491 25,000. Thanks for all of your calls and comments so far today. Keep them coming in to us. Tony Houlihan says a caller was given the job for payback in backing all the bad decisions that the government took in the height of COVID. He has questions to answer. Tony Houlihan should be out on his ear, never mind being given a nice job, yet all these women suffer because of him, or it's a disgrace, they say. I'm not sure it's because of him, but I understand where you're coming from. Shocking that such a post is created without proper process. He was given the post without public knowing, and on top of that, also 30,000 more. Trinity should be paying his salary, not the taxpayer. Every month there's a scandal, they say. Another, Greg, good morning. Tony Houlihan should be reprimanded for his attempted... Well, I can't read that just in its entirety there because I just have to check the legal elements of that. What an incredible job Ukrainian troops are doing. Not only have they forced the Russians to retreat, but also, as the Kremlin now acknowledges, inflicted significant losses on its army. Furthermore, isn't it wonderful there are no reports of Ukrainian soldiers killed in action, and I can only put this down to the superb body armour which Simon Coveney sent from the Irish Army. Surplus stores. Let's hear the truth on what's going on in Ukraine, please. I've seen the Ukrainian death tolls have been announced of their soldiers. I'm not sure what you're referencing there. If you though I think you must, I think, concede that things haven't gone to plan for Putin. I mean, he has tried to take Kiev. He wanted to march through the streets of Kiev in May and has had to give in and head east. On the Tony Houlihan story, is this another Zapone job for Tony Houlihan? Another, what about the cervical smear tests where women died? That is in history as well. Another, it was the people of Ireland who helped fight against this pandemic by sacrificing our social life and staying in our homes in lockdown, wearing our masks and waiting and taking the vaccines required against the COVID-19. Regarding Tony Houlihan's promotion, who's running the country anyway? Exactly. You know, there's far more praise of people like Dr. Houlihan than there are of the public. Do you remember we were just described as what we were doing up here? We were being reckless. The dogs in the street knew what was going on up here. We had given so much, and that's how we were being described at press conferences. Shocking. Excuse me. What did Tony Houlihan do in the last 2 years? He got plenty of help. It just wasn't him. What did he do before that, or not? Or can we not remember? It's all jobs for the boys. All politicians do the same, believes that caller there. Another caller says, just the same justification for the Zapone stroke. She's very qualified. They were supposed to have learned lessons after Zapone, but obviously didn't. An excellent discussion. Re Tony Houlihan. He also was too slow to accept the importance of home antigen tests. Professor O'Connor hitting the nail on the head. And how much has been allocated towards cybersecurity and IT upgrading, considering the hacking issue outside of his remit, of course, but I take your point. The move of Tony Houlihan. Even though the whole appointment seems flawed, the transfer looks like an attempt to resolve a management conflict issue at senior level within the HSE. In reference to your comment regarding possible teaching experience, professors at university are not teachers. They facilitate a culture where the students are encouraged to learn through exploration, debate and formation of fact-based opinions. University in Ireland primarily provide learning-based, not teaching-based education, hence the difference between universities and schools. Of course, I have never went to college. I just thought there are lectures which are conducted by professors, and I thought to help be qualified for that job, there was a certain amount of miles had to be up on the clock in that regard, or at least some experience. Clearly, I know nothing. Niall Blaney used the word immigrants for the poor Ukrainians. We were told previously they were refugees from war and, as I understand, want to return home after Putin leaves. We're offering permanent homes, and yet we have yet to sort out our poor Micah-hit families. Listen, I'm not sure the definition of immigrants or refugees in the context he used. I'm not sure we're offering permanent homes either. We're talking about tents here and warehouses to house these individuals fleeing conflict. Greg, if this appointment was made by the General Secretary of the Department of Health, then should not be sacked. Yeah, well, we'll see. The housing of Ukrainian refugees. What happened to all the generous Irish who only a few weeks ago were falling over each other to open their doors to these poor people? Virtual signalling at its worst, methinks. No, it's not like that, right? Because what it is, and there are people right now in Ireland. If they've any spare money, they're contributing to try and help Ukrainian people. They are hosting Ukrainian people in their homes, or they're volunteering in Killybegs or Bundoran or wherever the Ukrainians are to help them. That's what they're doing. There is a group of people that don't want the Ukrainians here and want Irish first and all that kind of stuff. They're not the same people. They're not people that have changed their opinion. And they're probably in the minority. The work to help and support and the care of Ukrainians is still ongoing by an awful lot of people in this country. But as I say, there are a group who express a different point of view to try and suggest that the same people that in some way they have changed their mind is not accurate. Turned in this morning, just catching the end of the conversation. What good is using student accommodation for a short-term fix? The students will need it back. And where do we magic up accommodation for the Ukrainians when the students need a roof over their heads to when they continue their studies in September? Well, it would be until September. It's the same as the hotels. I presume hotel owners want their rooms back in the summer. Much more money to be made in the summer, and it's a short-term deal. That's what I was trying to say. This is a medium, 2022 into 2023 issue. I don't know how they're going to resolve it. So what the Senator is really saying is that all the educated people at the top can't weigh fish. They're a smart bunch. That's all I have to say. We've another statement in from the SFP. I wish it was just like, I appreciate the points they're trying to make, and I will go through it before the end of the programme. I just wish that they would try and break it down into more manageable and a more manageable explanation. What about Horse Racing Ireland CEO is paid 190 grand with a company car despite the starting salary being set at 137? Is it because she's female? There's not a word about it. If we are going to throw much at Tony, let's do it across the board. All we do is talk about the amount of money Horse Racing Ireland gets from the Exchequer and how much those at the top get paid. It's a big industry. There's enough in betting that should be able to sustain horse racing in Ireland without it requiring government support. So to say no one talks about it, I hear it talks about it all the time.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
And good luck if you're playing the bingo today.
It's time for Ncbi Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Friday the 8th of April. You're playing on the yellow sheet. The reference number is S10. It's game number 14. The numbers are 81, 89, 55, 80, 36, 18, 33, 50, 78, and finally 27. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI Bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Donegal and Tyrone clash this Friday evening for a place in the Ulster Under-20 Football Championship final. Join myself, Oisín Kelly and Martin McHugh in Celtic Park and Derry with live match commentary on our website on highlandradio.com from the 8 p.m. throw-in, in association with the Old Orchard Inn, High Road, Letterkenny, who have launched their brand new menu under Chef David Tudio. You can also relax in the all-new Theo's Cocktail Bar and Terrace. See the Orchard Inn, Letterkenny on Facebook for more.
You might think you know Ireland's ancient East, but maybe it's time for a closer look. Uncover stories bold and brave where vibrant city nights follow action-packed days. Set course for countless adventures at Carlingford Adventure Centre, or roam wild in wonder in the Glen of Aherlow, and become captivated by the culture and craft of Kilkenny's cobbled streets. Ireland's ancient East, yours to explore. Keep discovering at discoverireland.ie.
Century Complex, the perfect family day out this Easter. Kids will love exploring Century Play. We have lots of tasty options at Backstage Bar and Grill. And Century Cinemas are showing kids' movies, rom-coms, action and adventure movies, dramas and more. Call us on 074 9121976 or visit centurycinemas.ie.
Most business ideas start with a dream, a desire to do things differently. A lot of business ideas end there too. If you have an idea you want to turn into a reality, Enterprise Ireland's New Frontiers programme can help. Together with your local institutes of technology and technological universities, it provides support and funding for early-stage entrepreneurs to help with everything from testing your idea to implementing your business plan. Applications for your region are now open. Visit newfrontiers.ie. Enterprise Ireland's New Frontiers. Turn dreaming into doing. Supported by the Government of Ireland.
Join the team at Homeland Letterkenny for their Garden Super Saturday series for the month of April. This Saturday, April 9th, special guest Gareth Austin will host a garden clinic. The Homeland team will showcase outdoor garden power with offers available on the Stiga battery range and Gardena robot lawnmowers. There's also buy two get one free on roses and climbing plants. There'll also be a chance to win a Stiga battery hedge trimmer on the day. Looking forward to seeing you this Saturday at Homeland Letterkenny.
And you're welcome back to the programme. Now, it was with great sadness that we learned of the passing of former Fianna Fáil councillor Dermot Mclaughlin. He served as a councillor in the Buncrana Urban District Council, taking on the role of chair on numerous occasions. And I suppose really you never stop being a councillor or a rep. You always be plugging away. Minister Charlie McConlogue is the Minister for Agriculture, Food and Marine. And obviously a big loss, for the community, for family and friends, and for politics as well, Charlie.
Yeah, good morning, Greg, and I think you're absolutely right. And I just want to express my condolences to all of Dermot's family, to his remaining sister, Kay, who lives in Surrey, and to his many nieces and nephews. And while today and he's being buried tomorrow is a time where everybody will be reflecting on the person we've lost and how fondly and what esteem he was held in by all. It'll also be very much a celebration of the life that was Dermot Mclaughlin's, because it was a life very, very well lived indeed. And he was a man who made an immense contribution to his locality, to his community, and to his county, and to the many causes in which he was involved. And he was a fine gentleman, a very intelligent man, and a man who carried himself with great dignity in everything that he did. And as you mentioned there, he was a long-serving Fianna Fáil councillor from the 70s right up to when the council was the council finished in 2009 on Buncrana Town Council and Buncrana Urban Council. But that was only one aspect of Dermot's life. While he was a tremendous public representative through that, and a really committed member and passionate member of Fianna Fáil, There was many other aspects to his life.
Yeah, and in terms of his interest in nature and wildlife, interest in that maybe even before it was fashionable to be so, but also in the development of Inishowen, not just in elected politics, but in community involvement.
Very, very much so. And I suppose what was unique, and even more unique about Dermot now than over his lifetime, was the fact that he lived in the centre, in Main Street in Moncrana, and he grew up in Main Street in Moncrana, and he's right to his death now, one of the very few remaining residents on the Main Street, and him and his family, and he would have lived with his two sisters, Joan and Marcia, and they would have had a sweet shop at the bottom of their house on the Main Street, which was very well known and very fondly regarded by everyone in Moncrana, known as Marcia's. And so by virtue of where he lived and how he grew up, he was right at the centre of the community. But then in terms of how he lived his life and the contribution he made and how he was generous with his time and his talents, he was right at the centre of the community as well. And as you said there, Greg, in relation to the job that he had throughout his life, he worked for the National Parks and Wildlife Service as a wildlife ranger, and it was a job that was it really was there. And I often said to him, Dermot, you had the perfect job, and you couldn't have asked for a better job for the interest that you had and what you wanted to do. And he always would have said to me, absolutely, he said it never felt like a day's work because he was so passionate about what he did and so committed to it. And that was in his day job, but also that passion he had in his day job very much transmitted into his voluntary commitments as well outside his day job, because his passion for wildlife and for nature very much transmitted into the many voluntary organisations which he'd been involved with as well. And there wouldn't have been a wildlife organisation in the peninsula of Inishowen, or indeed in the county, that Dermot wouldn't have played a role in or made a contribution to, and he would have been very involved in working with others in terms of getting Inch Wildfowl Reserve, for example, up and running and moving. He would have been very involved both through his work and otherwise with Ncbi and the Golden Eagle project there, and also through many different projects and endeavours that were nature had a nature aspect or a wildlife aspect right throughout Inishowen.
And in my experience, and by all accounts, fundamentally a gentleman.
An absolute gentleman, always, and somebody who always had a very dignified demeanour and always could communicate how he thought, but always tremendously respectful to all around him, and an absolute gentleman, but a really solid and strong person at that, but a gentleman in everything that he did. And just to mention, in recent years, after his retirement, he would have been chairman of Inishowen Development Leadership as well for a number of years, up until very recently, up until the last few years. And which would have been, that's obviously what we're seeing, leader funding in the county, and something that would have taken quite a bit of work. And with his brother Danny, would have played a pivotal role in terms of Dunree Fort, in terms of its development, working with John McCarter and all of the David McGee and all of the team there. In terms of, I know he was very proud to see how that has developed in recent years, and the funding that was allocated to that recently. Himself and Danny, his brother, would have put a massive effort into that in terms of seeing the vision with the others in the committee around that, and driving that on to the potential that it has today. He was a man. He lived a very didn't smoke, didn't drink, but enjoyed the simple things of life. Enjoyed the nature and everything that was happening. Also very much into history. And would have had many history books, and very well read, and tremendous interest in all things that would have happened in terms of the county, and indeed the wider national history as well. So
and what you say, it's about a celebration. What to be able to leave so much behind you too. We'd all be blessed if we were able to contribute so much and to be remembered so fondly at a time of passing.
Certainly, and he's going to be missed by all in Moncrana and indeed in Inishowen and in the organisations he was involved with, but also will be celebrated and fondly remembered for all the time to come as well. So I just best wishes to his remaining sister Kay and all of his nieces and nephews who will dearly miss him.
Yeah, and may he rest his peace. The funeral is tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. from his home, going to St Mary's Oratory for 10 o'clock Requiem Mass with burial afterwards in Cockhill Cemetery, and may he rest in peace. And we appreciate, Minister, you accepting our invite to pay tribute to him. But before I let you go, if you don't mind, there's just one other topic, and I'm sorry to put this on to you. I know you came on to pay tribute, but I think people might understand the controversy in Killybegs at the moment. We've heard from businesses who are incredibly worried about their future. We've had workers sent home because there's no fish for them to process. We're getting a lot of word-heavy press releases from the SFPA, but those within this industry are really worried about the financial and jobs impact of some of the administration in Killybegs. What can you say as Minister for the Marine?
Yeah, well, listen, I give a summary in the interview I did to Donegal on this on Wednesday. But what I might say, Greg, is I'd be happy to come on and discuss it with you further on Monday morning. But just in terms of memory to Dermot this morning, I might just leave it at that.
Fully respect that, and I appreciate that.
With you again on Monday, I'll be very happy to do
We'll
that.
speak to you on Monday, and I appreciate that indeed. Okay, thank you very much indeed. That is Minister Charlie McConalogue. That's his choice, and I fully understand that, by the way, in terms of his respect to Dermot Mclaughlin, and he has committed to join us on Monday. It'll be after that meeting on Saturday as well. We'll be able to discuss the issue further. Rightio, let's take a piece of music. But before we do, you've got about half an hour now to enter our big holiday draw, our big holiday competition. Just to repeat for you, it's a €10,000 holiday voucher. Now, what that means is that you can take that, you can book the holiday of a lifetime, Route 66, Florida, whatever you want to do, and spend and splurge the 10,000 all at one time with €5,000 cash spending money, right? Okay. Or you win the €5,000 cash. It's up to you what you do with that. And you have a €10,000 holiday voucher to use heading back and forwards to Faro or to London or to Paris or wherever you want. You can keep chipping away at that 10 grand. It is yours. Okay, it is a brilliant prize, and I think it'll be all the more brilliant for the person that wins it because it opens so much. So you enter the draw online at our website highlandradio.com, and tickets are €10. So you have if you've got the spare cash and you want to enter a competition, I don't want anyone spending money they don't have. €10 for one ticket. If you want to buy tickets for gifts, €50 gets you 6. €80 gets you 10. Okay, so you can go online and do that now. If you don't have access to online and you still want to take part, give us a call 07491 25,000. We will sort you out. But if you buy your ticket before 11 today, the draw takes place next week. But if you buy your ticket before 11 today, you can win €1,000 on this programme and €1,000 on John Breslin's show. We're going to be doing the draw live at 11:30. So if you're one of these last minute people that thought, I'll probably buy a ticket at the end, do it today. If you're going to do it anyway, do it today, and then you can win €1,000 in cash. We've already given a holiday for two away in Turkey. That lady's name's back in the draw drum. If you win the cash today, your name's back in the draw drum. You'll be able to watch the draw live on Facebook as you can the whole show. So if you're going to play, if you're going to get involved before 11, and then there's $2,000 up for grabs today. That's all I'd say to you. We had a great time in London last week. One of the highlights, although it was all fantastic, was a wee jam session afterwards in McGettigan's Bar down there. Involved in that was Mickey Hart, brilliant guitarist, of course, and also Johnny Gallagher out of Boxty. Not necessarily who you would pair, but they work beautifully together, and it was a brilliant thing to be a part of and to listen to two fantastic musicians. And just here's a bit of Mickey now for you.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
COVID-19 can still cause serious illness, especially in people at higher risk. We need to keep protecting each other. So stay home if you have symptoms. Wear a mask in healthcare settings, public transport, and busy places. Let fresh air in if you're meeting indoors. Keep hands clean. And get a COVID-19 vaccine and booster. Let's keep looking out for each other. From the HSE, for us all.
Let's call out his name. Mike Denver in concert with guests Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine at the Millennium Forum Derry on Saturday, April 23rd. Tickets at the theatre box office. That's Mike Denver in concert at the Millennium Forum with Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine on Saturday, April 23rd.
At Centra, we want to make your mornings extra special with our Inspired by Centra breakfast deal. Mix and match from succulent sausages, crispy rashers, award-winning corn-fed eggs and freshly squeezed orange juice. Any 3 for €6 until the 20th of April. Centra. Live every day.
Farmers may need environmental licence to keep stock. For more in this week's Farmers Journal, here's Paul Mooney.
We reveal EU plans to introduce environmental permits on livestock farms. Suckler farmers most at risk from rising fertiliser costs, while holding back €40 million in unspent bean money could lead to fodder shortages. Arrivo profits soar as we analyse the impact of Lakeland's lockdown on production.
Plus, don't miss our beef breeding focus, packed with top tips for suckler farmers inside this week's Irish Farmers Journal, on sale now.
Get the Irish Daily Star today for your free Aintree pull-out and sweepstake kit. With all the top tipsters in our stable, ready to get you first past the post all week at the Grand National Festival. The Irish Daily Star, #1 for racing, #1 for you.
Are you ready?
Yes, Chris.
Question for £1 million is, what do Crawford tiles do? Is it A, tiles, B, wooden flooring, C, bathroom suites, D, 5-day bathroom refits?
All 4.
You've just won £1 million! Well, not really. After taxes, you lose a bunch of money, but hey, whatever. Crawford Tiles, Castlefin, 07491 43942.
Kelly's Diner in Letterkenny now has even longer opening hours. Try Kelly's Early Bird Breakfast, one of their great lunch specials, or a renowned Jake's Burger. Kelly's famous steak specials are available every Saturday from 3, with an 8-ounce succulent steak and all the trimmings for just €11. New extended opening hours now in Kelly's award-winning diner at Mountaintop, Letterkenny. Check out Facebook for details.
Okay, very welcome back to the programme. Onto it, we welcome Paul Bonner. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Greg.
Nice to chat to you. How are you keeping?
Yeah, not too bad, Greg. Not too bad.
Right, okay. You recently, if I'm correct, Paul, were diagnosed with ADHD.
That's correct, yeah.
Tell us how that came about.
Someone that was close to me thought that, that I had some traits of ADHD that they recognised in me, that they saw in other people with ADHD. So then I started to look into it, and the more I looked into it, Greg, the more I could identify with that in myself, and that led me going to the ADHD Ireland website, and they have a questionnaire on there, and I answered yes to virtually everything. So that was pointed to heavily having ADHD. I then did the same questionnaire with my parents in regards to me when I was younger, but as an adult as well. And I didn't tell them what it was because I didn't want to influence them one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they said, yeah, those all apply to you. So then it looked like that's what I had. So
and can I ask, just in relation to that, Paul, did it feel like the penny dropped? Did things start to make sense? Did it lift a weight off your shoulders or explain stuff, or what was your emotion when it clicked?
Yeah, so it explained everything in my life up until that point, if I'm being honest. And a relief, especially when I got the diagnosis, because when I was going for the assessment, I was kind of worried that what if I don't have ADHD? Then how do I explain everything that's been going on in my life? And Yeah, it was a relief, but also there's a sense of, and this is quite common, apparently, that there's almost a sense of mourning that had I had the diagnosis, that I would have achieved the things that I wanted to have done.
I hear that all the time in terms of how schooling could have been different or other choices could have made a difference. So it's, as I talked about it, the penny dropped, but it can drop in and remind you of, if we'd have known earlier what other paths might I have taken. I get that completely, Paul. In terms of things you've learned about maybe the system, the treatment of ADHD since your diagnosis, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, so a big issue for me, Greg, has always been in employment, and and I managed to get a degree and a master's, and it was a struggle, because the ADHD impacts that. But but even armed with those sort of qualifications, and I have a number of other qualifications, that I still would struggle to find the work that I wanted, and a number of things would come into play there. But things like application forms, I find difficult, and when you're applying for work, you might have to go through a lot. So I kind of, once I got the diagnosis, I've reached out to a number of organisations looking for help, and I have to say some of them have been quite helpful, especially with the information. But then again, there's a process of form filling and what have you. But one particular organisation, I don't want to name an organisation, because people might hone in on the individual, and it's not the individual. It's a general kind of stigma, if you like, that I was told to not disclose my diagnosis, to not disclose that I had ADHD in applying for jobs. Not told not to, but it was suggested, I guess, would be the thing.
Yeah, and that probably was well intentioned, but it kind of pulls the curtain back a little bit, and as to the attitude of towards people with ADHD, I wonder.
Yes, absolutely, and I don't think it's necessarily a representation of the person. They were just who told me that.
Yes, I get you.
They were saying, well, this is what you can expect.
Did you tease that out further as to why, if you declared the diagnosis in advance, it would work against you, Paul?
Sorry, what was that, Greg?
Did they sort of say why, if you declared you had ADHD, how that might work against you? Is it just because of people might go, oh, ADHD, we'll go for another candidate? Or was it sort of...
Yeah, almost like that. Almost that if it came down between a person with ADHD and a person without, that it might be the person without, and the stigma that's attached. So particularly considering the nature of the type of jobs that I'm looking to apply for now, it would be in that sort of realm of caring for people with learning disabilities and mental health. And I'd also have issues with mental health so anxiety would be something that's quite common.
Yeah, but I would have thought that would have been a strength, that you could have more empathy. That obviously, there's the book learned stuff, but you've the life learned stuff. I would have thought that would be a big advantage, Paul, in your ambition to work with people with a disability, because you could truly understand. You could probably be more empathetic, because I'm not saying what you have is a disability, by the way. I don't want you to think that's what I'm saying. But you would understand that you can have something that makes things more challenging.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think that's what's kind of having me lean more toward that type of work, and I have done in the past. My background would be in sort of community arts and education, and I would have encountered people who would have maybe not ADHD, but certainly who are sort of atypical, neurodivergent, and so there was an empathy that, without me even knowing, that I myself was neurodivergent. But there was an empathy there and a connection, and that's what's kind of. And in fact, many years ago now, 20 years ago, I would have worked in mental health care in England. So again, that empathy was coming through, even though I had no diagnosis myself at that stage.
You could relate. There was something there that made you more. I get you, Paul. So, and we appreciate you speaking out. What do you hope to achieve by it? Is it to highlight that there is an underlying, or maybe it's not underlying, stigma around people with ADHD that could be a barrier to getting you into a perfect job for you? Or, what are you hoping to change by if anything, of course, Paul, by speaking out?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a change in attitude, I guess, more of an understanding, because I think through, sort of TV and film, we probably have this idea of ADHD, the Bart Simpson, Dennis the Menace type characters, and there's a lot more to it than that. And I suppose we are getting better with understanding about mental health conditions now. So I think things like ADHD, although not necessarily a mental health issue as such, but to have an understanding of it from organisations as well as individuals.
And if you come in to do an interview as well, Paul, and you say you want to declare your diagnoses, that we need to be thinking openly enough to go, is that an advantage or does it matter, rather than it being, oh, okay, well, thank you very much for coming in, Paul, we'll be in contact, and it going straight on the no pile. Is that part of it as well, Paul, that we it's not something we judge people on, give people the opportunities, get them into work and see and judge them on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but I think as well is that for me, I think it's important to disclose, because it's not something I want to be ashamed of or hide away. It's not a thing I have. It's who I am. So there's that, and also it would be in my benefit and an employer's benefit to know, because we can make allowances for the ADHD, and as well as the fact that ADHD, that there are things that we might struggle with. There are strengths to, people who have ADHD have strengths, like the empathy we talked about as well. So, and there's also obstacles in applying for certain, not just jobs, but other resources, let's say. Things like it's very difficult for people with ADHD to do one form, let alone when they're applying for various things, to do a number of them. We get overwhelmed very easily, and there's a tendency to forget. We need to have that deadline.
Just in relation to that, if you don't mind asking, Paul, it's a bit of a digression. Would that leave the likes of the census form challenging? And I wonder if it would. Is there an understanding of that? I'm not sure if you, other person, might fill out that form, Paul. I'm not asking you that as such, but I just wonder: do we actually consider that enough? We just presume these forms are handed out and everyone is equally capable of filling them out.
I think there's a presumption that we can, and that everyone can, and with the census form, something like that, it has to be left for the last minute, because to get there's certain chemicals in our brain, that in everyone's brain, that will give us the motivation to say do a form or do something that's menial and maybe boring.
Mm-hmm.
But with ADHD, we don't have that, and that's why we need the deadline for those, the adrenaline and for the dopamine to kick in.
Wow, interesting. That's really interesting, Paul. Yeah,
to get it done. So like leaving everything to the last minute is a very common thing.
But you're good at that. You're good at that.
Yeah.
See that as a positive, not as a negative.
That's a positive.
I'm good with deadlines. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with deadlines. Yeah,
but only at the last minute. Okay. Listen, Paul. I'm learning all the time. I'm listening. And maybe we can speak again in the future. I think it's a really important point an important point that you made, and maybe even something that might be worthy of a bit of a panel discussion as well. But as I say, even in our short conversation, I feel like I've learned something. I'm sure we all have, and I appreciate your time. And I hope those that make decisions, those that would be hearing someone say, I'm applying for this job, and by the way, I have an ADHD diagnosis and I'm on meds or whatever it might be, that there's an understanding there, and maybe it can be seen as an advantage in some positions and a bit more understanding, and let's get rid of the stigma. Paul, listen, brilliant stuff. Great. Fair play to you.
Thanks very much.
Lovely to chat
Bye-bye.
to you, okay? And hopefully our paths cross again. Okay, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Coming up after 11, we have Michael and Fionnuala. They're in studio talking about what they've been watching. What have you been watching, by the way? It could be theatre. Maybe went and seen a good band. Talk to us about music as well. You know, we can talk about anything. It's really just to put to one side all the serious stuff and just for the last hour of the week, just have a chat about whatever. We don't really plan what we're talking about, by the way, so any input is greatly appreciated. What you're watching on TV. If you're not watching TV, what else are you doing to entertain yourself? Tell us how your life changes, maybe in the brighter evenings. Anything. The soaps, by the way. The Takeaway Show. This is not. We're not all highfalutin here, by the way. And I'm not saying for a second that soaps aren't that. But do you know what I mean? I think when people talk about TV, they don't really. We'll talk about the soaps, but they might not think they can talk about it on a show. But do anything. Saturday Night Takeaway, whatever it might be. Naked Attraction, anything that you want to talk about or you have a comment about. We want you to be having the same conversations with us as you are with your friends and family. 086 60 25,000. Love to see a really busy hour on the text machine if you can motivate yourself to do so. Or give us a call to talk to Caroline on 07491 25,000. 9 minutes, by the way, to get your ticket for the big holiday draw, but to still be in the draw for €1,000 at 11:30 and €1,000 on John's show. So that's the last time we're going to mention it, but you've got 8 minutes now to get your ticket. Call us here if you can't do online. 07491 25,000. We will sort you out.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Is your bank leaving town? Letterkenny Credit Union is now offering MyCU current account and debit MasterCard, bringing full banking features with no appointment necessary to open your account.
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we know a good pair of trainers makes all the difference, whether you're running marathons or training for your first 5K. We stock all the leading brands, including Asics, Brooks and New Balance, with different styles and features to suit individual running needs. Call in store or shop online at michaelmurphysports.ie.
At Hickey Clark and Langan Insurance Brokers, they compare quotes from all the leading insurers, so you get a great price. Home, motor and van, farm, holiday home, travel and liability insurance, they quote them all. So if the worst happens, you're covered. For a competitive insurance quote today, call Hickey Clark and Langan on 9126688 or pop into their office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey Clark and Langan General Insurances Limited, trading as Hickey Clark and Langan, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
The Villa Rose Hotel, Ballybuffet and Anchorage Gidor present the Dublin City Ramblers Easter weekend, April 16th and 17th. The Villa Rose will also host Mac Fleetwood, the ultimate Fleetwood Mac tribute band, on April 23rd. All tickets €20 each. Telephone or see hotel websites for full details.
On this week's Business Matters, we'll be focusing on the success of Creevin Community and Enterprise Centre in Tyrone. I'll be speaking to Centre Manager Mary Doherty, and I'll also be catching up with Dermot Mclaughlin, Community Operations Manager with Gigabel, and Neil Sullivan, founder of Hadfield Green, who are both based at the Co-working Plus G-Tech Digital Hub, located within the centre that was officially opened last week. So join me, Ciara O'Donnell, for Business Matters on Sunday evening after the 6 o'clock news. The Business Matters podcast is also available to download at highlandradio.com.
Business Matters in association with the Faculty of Business at ATU Donegal. Looking for a career in financial services? Consider the Level 9 MA in Governance, Compliance and Data Protection. Take the next step in your career and contact the Exec Ed Coordinator on 9186206 or email execed, execed at lyit.ie today.
Are you tired of waiting for treatment or surgery? Did you know you can receive immediate treatment across the border under the new NI planned healthcare scheme at potentially no cost? Donegal patients are still being treated with us at Kingsbridge Private Hospital Northwest post-Brexit. The process is easy and our dedicated team will help guide you through it. So why wait? Contact us today to find out how you can skip the waiting lists and receive treatment in Northern Ireland. Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com, because life matters.
We
Win with low prices from SuperValue. With great offers like SuperValue Fresh Irish Strip Loin Steak, save 33%. Epic! Coca-Cola regular 10-pack and Coke Zero 12-pack, only €6 each. Unreal! And Villa Maria Sauvignon Blanc 6-pack case deal, only €50. Winning! Win with SuperValue low prices. Enjoy alcohol responsibly.
Break free from the same old, same old. Join a community where people can grow and be at their best. Join ZincWorks and develop software for the biggest companies in the world, working with 5G and financial services. We value learning. We want you to be a better engineer every day you work with us. We value teamwork. We want you to learn from your peers and help your peers learn. We're hiring now for our new offices based in Letterkenny. See zincworks.com/careers.
Dáithí O'Shea here. On Thursday, May 5th, the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland is calling the nation back to tea. It's been 3 years since we've been able to gather together for a proper Tea Day get-together. So, let's make up for lost time and get the kettle on to support the 500,000 Irish families affected by dementia. Register now at teaday.ie.
Is your business or farm having difficulty getting a loan or restructuring bank debt? The good news is, there's something you can do about it. For over 10 years, Credit Review has helped Irish SMEs get the credit they need for their business by appealing unfavourable credit decisions. For more information, visit creditreview.ie. Credit where it's due. Credit Review is an initiative of the Government of Ireland.
Finharbs take on league leaders Derry City in the Northwest Derby. It's the standout tie of the Premier Division this weekend. Join the Highland team for full live match commentary this Saturday from the 5:30 kick-off at Finn Park.
Finharbs on Highland in association with BNS Credit Union Ballabafay, where the Renovate loan can help you turn your dreams to reality. Don't delay, get your loan today. Visit bnscu.ie or free phone 1800 290 390. BNS Credit Union Limited is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Now flying to 19 destinations this summer with 7 days car parking from just €30 when you book online. Ireland West Airport. You're flying.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the programme. Let's have a look at the weather forecast. By the way, if you are holding on the phones to buy your tickets for our draw, we will get to you. And if we have to push it out to 11:05, you know what? We'll do that for you as well. Been quite a good reaction. We really do appreciate it. I'm looking forward to giving someone €1,000 in cash at 11:30. And John's going to give €1,000 away as well. And next Friday, we're going to give away that €15,000 holiday. Hop online now if you have time just before 11-ish, you know what I mean? To be in with a chance to win the €1,000. I think in terms of phone lines, we are pretty jammed, but if you want to try it, do. So the weather rather cold today, with frost clearing this morning to leave a day of sunshine and showers. Many of the showers will be wintry in nature, with hail, sleet and some snow flurries. Highest temperatures 6 to 9 degrees, but temperatures dropping to just 2 to 3 degrees in showers. Moderate fresh north and northwest breezes gusty around the showers. It's kind of looking the same for tomorrow, though I understand from Sunday onwards it's going to get a bit milder. There'll still be showery, but milder. We can live with that, can't we? Pierce Doherty is a disgrace in the Dáil, says a caller. I watched his performance yesterday. It was just a shocking piece of shouting. What is achieved by that shouting? Another, I think Tony Holohan is a wonderful ambassador for our country. He's saved us all at a very difficult time. I genuinely think he should be put forward for president of our country after his time at Trinity College. And more of you probably, by the way, he's held in very high regard, okay? And I just don't want a situation when, say, for instance, we had 3 people on the Friday panel who were of a view that at least elements of the decision need to be looked at. I don't want people then who think that Tony Holohan did a great job or want to come to his defence feel like, oh, well, they'll not read that out. Please, if you do get in contact with us, because I do try and read everything that comes in. And I don't want anyone out there feeling that, oh, well, that's really unfair, but there's no point me calling in. Please do. And if you want to come on and put up a defence of Tony Holohan, I'm not going to challenge you on it as such, if you know what I mean. I don't want you to think it would be some sort of a hatchet job on you at all. I want everyone to feel that they can express themselves, and particularly as listeners, it might be slightly different with elected politicians who are getting paid, but that listeners can have their say, free of me trying to sort of, overly contradict it. It's different, of course, with politicians then, because they're in the public eye, they're well rewarded, and they can... I think it's important that they're held to account. Okay, listen, it is 11 o'clock. Fionnuala, Michael, on the way. Much more besides between now and noon. But it is at 11 o'clock. Time for the news headlines. And it's good morning once again to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The government has paused the secondment of Chief Medical Officer Dr Tony Holohan to a professorship at Trinity College. Taoiseach Micheál Martin has requested a full report from Health Minister Stephen Donnelly explaining the appointment. Tributes have been paid to former Fianna Fáil councillor Dermot Mclaughlin following his death. Mr Mclaughlin served as a councillor in the Buncrana Urban District Council, taking on the role as chair on numerous occasions. Cathaoirleach of Donegal County Council, Councillor Jack Murray, says he left behind an incredible legacy, having represented the people of Buncrana for more than 4 decades. A pre-draft public consultation of a new County Donegal development plan has commenced today. The development plan will set out an overall strategy for the proper planning and sustainable development of the county from 2024 to 2030. It will focus on housing, economic development, urban regeneration, transport, water and wastewater, natural and built heritage, climate change, tourism, community and the Gaeltacht. Well, Donegal County Council has been told that the local development plan for Letterkenny is not ready to go to public consultation yet, as there are still some disagreements between members and officials. Speaking during a protracted debate at this week's council meeting, Head of Planning Liam Ward said the Letterkenny 2040 document and the local plan should be interlinked, but some members were sceptical, saying that could limit their power to change the plan in the future. A Donegal deputy believes that the overall faith in the electoral system needs to be strengthened. Deputy Thomas Pringle was speaking in the Dáil during statements on the electoral reform bill. And 3 men are due to appear in court today following a number of incidents in Tyrone, Derry and Armagh. The men aged 63, 23 and 20 have been charged with a number of offences, including possession of a firearm or imitation firearm with intent to cause fear or violence, theft, criminal damage, handling stolen goods and other motoring offences. Those are the latest headlines. We'll be back with an update again at 12 noon.
OK, Michaela, listen, thank you very much indeed. Stay right where you are. Michael and Fionnuala will be with us in just 3 minutes.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Guess where we're going on holidays?
Could be. Get your ticket from Highland Radio at highlandradio.com.
And if that's not enough, enter before Friday the 8th of April to also be in with a chance to win one of our bonus cash prizes of €1,000.
There's amazing deals every week at Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Great specials in tools, hardware and homeware. If you're a tradesperson or you're doing a one-off job, you'll find everything from power tools to hand tools and paint to work clothing. For great weekly deals and a great selection, visit Watson Hire at Kiltoy, Letterkenny. For more information, visit the Facebook page or see watsonhire.ie.
Get luxury for less this Easter with Lidl's inflation-busting offers. Don't miss out on award-winning Irish meats from our deluxe range, like our gold-awarded stuffed Carvery leg of lamb, only $15.99 per kilo. And sure to be finished dry cure half horseshoe ham joint was $14.99, now just $13.99. Lidl, more for you.
Welcome to the Betway Handicap Hurdle. They're under starters' orders, and they're off. Out in the lead early on is the favourite, Gaelic Runner, who is unbeaten in her last 3. Followed closely by the outsider, Oscar's Pal, who's failed to play so far this year.
Go on, Oscar's Pal!
So, who are you backing? Underdog or favourite? Visit betway.com or download the app. 18 plus T's and C's apply. Dunlewy.net. Bet the responsible way.
Hop on down to Letterkenny Shopping Centre for everything you need for Easter this April. Easter is a very special family holiday, so stock up on all the goodies you need to relax, enjoy and make memories with friends and family. With top fashion brands, free parking and with over 35 stores to choose from, Letterkenny Shopping Centre has it all this Easter. For more, see letterkennysc.com.
children of Ukraine, innocence is in the firing line. Your donation will give them food and first aid, water and warmth. Visit unicef.ie to have an immediate impact now.
Thank you for filling out your census form. Your census enumerator will soon call to collect it. If you have any queries, visit census.ie or call 0818 202204. Census 2022. Be counted.
Okie dokie, right. Now, unless you're holding, by the way, the lines are closed. They're not closed as such, but the lines are closed for the holiday competition if you wanted to be in for the €1,000 cash prize at 11:30 and on John's show, right? But even if you entered now, you're still in for the big prize. It's not to be sniffed at, 15,000 for next year. Right, so you heard the jingle. That can mean only two things, Fionnuala and Michael. Good morning to the pair of you. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for coming in.
It's great to be here.
Microphone worked first time too. It's fantastic.
I know.
It's a sign.
It's a good omen.
Do you think I said to Fionnuala yesterday, there's a glow. There's a spring in the step, Fionnuala.
In what, my step?
Yeah. Whose? I don't know, Fionnuala's. There's a glow to her. There's just something.
It was until this morning,
there is
and then
always
I was freezing.
Yes.
I was getting nothing warm, and now it's April, so my daughter's wedding is coming up at the end of the month.
We're not getting down to the nitty gritty now.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it is very.
It's an
Are you
exciting
nervous?
time. About my daughter's wedding? Yes, petrified. Yes, yeah. The closer it gets, the calmer she gets, and the more wrapped up I get about it.
At this stage, I think I'm a little bit nervous about it myself.
I am getting some deflective nervousness.
Osmosis. It's seeping every week. I'm like, oh my God, it's getting
I'm
closer.
also concerned about what am I going to talk to people about after it? It seems to be all they ever talk
bring
about.
your list.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's the part of a journey. I'm sure there'll be lots of stuff you can talk about afterwards. No, it's a lovely thing. It's 3 weeks away now, isn't it?
It is.
Hopefully the weather turns around a wee bit.
Thursday the 29th, I expect the whole of Donegal to put out the Child of Prague.
Okay, right. Not just the one now, lots of them.
No, we need lots of them because we need the good weather to go down as far as Galway because the wedding's in Galway. So.
Excellent. Okay, listen, lots of stuff on the square box or the whatever shape it is now. Or the big screen. But we'll start on the stage, will we? Because both of you saw something on the stage. I think Fionnuala wants to explain this one.
Yes, Fionnuala wants to explain it, yeah.
We went to see Terry Flynn because I'm a little bit obsessed with Darren Monaghan. If you remember, I was talking about him before. He's one of the Druid players, and he's also so he's been in a lot of different plays that the Druid has done. But it was also in that movie. Do you remember I was saying Redemption that was on Netflix, the Irish movie that was on Netflix, and then he was on this. And Michael very kindly came along with me, and I kind of felt like
as an alibi
to possibly apologise to him
in case he was
afterwards.
there.
So I was going to say, is that what you've been reduced to now? An alibi?
just in case he was there, because I think there's a barring order in place. Is there?
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. It's getting close to it, but not quite. We're on the brink of it. But the I was leaving it to Michael to explain this one because I didn't really understand what was going on. And
go on, Michael,
that's usually commonplace for me. But
wonderful. This is
Michael,
great.
It was.
This will be a great time for my microphone to fail. Terry Flynn was originally a novel. It's Patrick Kavanagh's novel. It's been adapted twice for the stage. I have no idea. I presume this is the second adaptation that this company have taken. On the surface, it's a very straightforward story of a young bachelor lad living in the 1930s in rural Ireland, and he takes these flights of fancy. Fionnuala, you compared him to Walter Mitty during the show. He takes these flights of fancy. He fancies this girl, but of course he doesn't do anything about it. And then there's another girl in the community that he kind of gets with, but he doesn't really like her. So that's kind of the bones of it. But it's a surreal kind of show. There's a musical number in the middle, and there's a wonderful, visually wonderful moment where a major character comes on stage, but they're in silhouette. We never see them. It's all done with backlighting, and their dialogue is actually coming over the loudspeakers. So it creates this really ominous. It's amazing. My only question for a lot of these things was, why I wasn't quite getting the storytelling aspect of it, but the spectacle was amazing. The performances were amazing. I personally thought maybe the story got a little bit lost in the shuffle. That's just my take on it. But as a night of theatre, as an evening of theatre, it was very enjoyable.
How long does it last? Something like this?
Just a couple of hours.
It started at 8 and it finished at like 10:30 or 10:15.
Yeah. So it was a full evening of theatre. Yeah.
So there's more to it. Is it because you're there live that
the immediacy?
Yeah, but also, do you know how we judge a TV program in our front room when something's live? Is there more? In other words, so maybe you talked about the storyline, but then there's so much more to it.
There's so much more.
I was just going to say exactly the same thing. The thing about going to the theatre is you'd have to go far to have a bad night out because there's always something. You know what I mean? Be it that, I've been to plays and I was like, I really had no idea what was going on there. But oh my God, the stage was awesome, or they did something with the stage, or the acting was amazing. Because
you get to see that creativity live, and also you're getting to see other fellow human beings putting it all on the line.
Yeah, well, 100%. And there's something about that. And even just like in this, everybody played
multiple,
2 or 3 characters.
Parts,
and you're like, I don't know how they kept it. Like they were going off to the side and putting on a jacket or putting on a hat.
They
and
also
then
played, as well as characters, they played farm animals.
Yes.
They were ducks, they were chickens, they were dogs.
So this is where we're getting into the surreal element.
Yeah, it was just all. I mean, it
was a love scenes between cattle and stuff like that were done. To be very funny and were very funny.
As we were saying, don't bring your granny.
No, don't bring your granny.
It was a big love scene between a bull and a cow, but
who were humans?
Who were humans pretending to be a bull and a cow.
But it was all done in a sort of like a ballet. And it was all done. It was spectacular. It
was. Literally selling tickets here now.
It was very good, and I have to say it was great. It's lovely to be back in the theatre, and I have to say I felt they did not get as big a crowd as it deserved. Yeah. It really was, and it was disappointing to see. Do you know what I mean? Obviously,
certainly not we were there.
And I know
where did you go?
It was on in Ungreenon.
Okay, yeah.
And I know people are nervous about it, but I have to say I find the theatre is very safe, and
completely.
If the reason people aren't going back is because they're nervous, they shouldn't be. They should have a conversation with the theatre themselves. There's places you can sit away from other people if you're nervous about sitting away from people. Some people wore masks, some people didn't. It's very much up to yourself. You know what I mean? How you feel yourself. And I definitely that was the thing I thought, because no matter how much I didn't understand it, it definitely wasn't enjoyable, and you'd be talking about it.
We were chatting about it for ages afterwards. Like we chatted about it for ages.
We've talked about this before. This is not any reflection on the marketing department, by the way, but it's word of mouth. Maybe now is how they'll start selling tickets, because how do you sort of sell this that makes people go, well, I really need to see this. What is, you get a cohort to go, and then they tell other people, and they then go, right, I
word of mouth is very important for any of these things.
It's a pity then when things aren't here for a long run
enough,
because often new stuff that comes in is only here for a day or two, or it's midweek or whatever, and then people have missed it after it's gone, and you're kind of saying, oh, keep an eye out for it,
Oh yeah, if this was like a 7-night show, which isn't practical, but I would be telling friends of mine,
3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th night,
go and see this. I'd be like, and I would say the same thing to them. I'd say, look, I didn't quite get something, but there's a lot here to like, and I would do it so that I could hear their feedback.
Do you know what they need to do? They need to start sending yous to wherever it was before.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
That would be alright, yeah.
And then you can talk about it before it arrives.
I will definitely. We'll have to give Green on a call and ask them to put their marketing budget into.
That's not the stupidest thing Greg has ever said.
And you've got a big back catalogue.
I agree. But I think that's the thing. I think
it's
when people talk about it, it makes people go, "Oh, I'm sorry to see that." Because already now, and Greenon has some amazing stuff coming, and people should be looking out for it. They've got some comedians, some musicians. I know you had, or there was talk that Frank McNamara, I don't know, has he been on yet?
I think it's scheduled.
That's coming, yeah.
That he's coming at some point, and there's a couple of comedians and different things like that are coming. And then in August, I think it is, they are doing, what's Brian Free?
The next one is coming.
No, the big one in August that I was saying we must go to, the Brian Free.
You did, you said that to me.
See, I think we're lucky in that we have the likes of On Green on, we have the Baller, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, where these shows and these artists come here, there was a time whereby you'd have to go to your Belfast or even maybe to a lesser extent Derry or whatever, but they're coming up here onto our own back doors.
Yeah, big shows,
like the whole night, I don't think the playing itself, there's any point in rating it unless you want to. But I mean, it's the thumbs up for the whole night.
Oh, thumbs up, yeah, completely.
I just, like I said, I think it's very difficult to have a bad night at the theatre because either you end up being in awe of the individuals on stage, because I mean the fact that they can remember all this stuff. I know Michael does this himself in the dramaturgs and that, but like the fact that people can remember all this, that they can remember where to stand.
She's fascinated that people have now learned the craft of learning lines and going on stage.
I'm always fascinated by it. On stage, I just think it's so amazing.
But like, this is like you sound to me like the people that clap when the plane lands.
Right? Oh no, never.
Well, you sound like the same because, as I said, I think I've said it before in this program. My only expectation I have when I get on the plane is that it will land safely. It's not something to applaud. It is. I only get on it purely based on the fact that I presume it's going to be able to land safely. Yeah. You should be past the point now whereby you're impressed by people learning words and saying them on a stage.
It's just so amazing, though.
That's the whole concept of the basic fundamentals of acting.
But to learn like loads of different parts and to be able to switch in and out of it. There was a guy on it who was playing, like, at one minute he was playing the priest, then he was the bull.
He was brilliant. But they were all they all were, in fairness.
He was flicking in between all these different characters and stuff.
Mary Bianconi's watching us on Facebook. She's just finished watching Netflix series called Piece of Her, and she loved it, and it's on your list. Before we take a break and get to that kind of stuff, none of you have watched Death on the Nile on Disney now?
No, I don't think I will. I'm not sure. I don't think it's pulling me in at all.
I was going to watch it last night to have something to talk, and then
I think
I had an episode of Prime Suspect to watch.
I did watch it.
Yeah. Can you convince me to watch it?
He upset me with the Orient Express.
Do you see people who aren't French put on French accents? I just you know. It's a whodunit, you know. It's the red herrings, and that stuff doesn't really.
Maybe Fionnuala is impressed by people putting on French accents and saying lines.
It was all done in England, all green screened, and I just find that whodunit and the big reveal. It's all very it's like playing Cluedo, and I know that's probably what it is. But they're talking about making more of them. If any of you out there watched it, 08660
This is his second one now.
Yes. Yeah.
But I've said the reason
he thinks there's going to be a universe. You know how you have your universe. He wants an Agatha Christie universe.
And why not?
The thing is, Agatha Christie
watch Death on the Nile.
I like Agatha Christie and I like all their stuff, and he's gotten some amazing names to come in on this. To be honest, if this is anything like the Orient Express, Murder on the Orient Express, which is the first one,
it is probably very like it.
I really needed him not to be in it. I don't think he didn't pull Poirot off for me, and I have watched the Poirot and different
TV series,
TV series and that kind of thing. David Suchet, Suchet.
It's just the setup. It's like, why is he there? You know, he's there for the whole thing. He's there for a wedding. He's there for.
I saw the trailer. The trailer didn't really.
I know, but if you listen to any Agatha Christie, you'd want to watch it. I mean, look at Miss Marple. I absolutely love a good Miss Marple.
Well, that's the next part of the universe.
That old lady has been around more deaths than I don't know.
You're
like, why would anybody hang around with her?
So I mean,
Midsummer Murders. Why would anybody go to Midsummer? Apparently, everybody dies there.
A lot of the critics liked it. A lot of the public liked it. I don't know. It's
so there will be a franchise, and it'll continue.
He does the visual though. That's what he does. Is he usually does the big visuals, and that's what kind of sucks people in. But I don't know. The Murder on the Orient Express did not.
But you could see it's all CGI and green screened. All of it is, you know, which is kind of obvious. But anyway, that was it. Okay. And right. We'll take the break, and then what we will come back to is, because I think Mary will be interested to see what you think of, or to hear what you think of Pieces of Her. It's on Netflix. We'll be back with that and so much more besides, including €1,000 at 11:30. Stay where you are.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Let's call out his name. Mike Denver in concert with guests Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine at the Millennium Forum Derry on Saturday, April 23rd. Tickets at the theatre box office. That's Mike Denver in concert at the Millennium Forum with Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine on Saturday, April 23rd.
This Easter, our award-winning Tesco Finest Irish Angus Carvery Rib Roast is half price. That's great value however you cut it. Choose from our finest sides, now 2 for €5, including finest potato gratin 400 gram. And to top you off, 33% off over 200 selected wines, including Faustino 5 Reserva Rioja 75cl. Shop all of our top offers online today at tesco.ie. Easter at Tesco. It's yours for the making. Enjoy alcohol responsibly.
Are you passionate about customer service? Then Concentrix wants to hear from you. Right now, Concentrix is recruiting work-at-home customer service advisors to join our growing global business in Donegal. If you're looking for an exciting opportunity where you can earn, learn and grow, apply today by searching Donegal at jobs.concentrix.com.
At ESB Networks, we're connecting Ireland to a clean electric future. And as part of the National Smart Metering programme, we're now installing smart electricity meters in your area. Your new smart meter will reduce the need for estimated bills, help you to manage your electricity usage more efficiently, and enable you to access smart electricity products and services. We'll contact you before your meter is installed. Find out more at esbnetworks.ie/smartmeter.
For a huge selection of furniture, all at one showroom, pull into Grow Furnishings in Letterkenny. Sofas, beds, wardrobes, tables and chairs. Also a range of carpet, vinyl, rugs and laminated flooring. If it's time for a change, it's time for a visit to Grow Furnishings. Grove deliver throughout Donegal, Derry and Tyrone. Be inspired at Grow Furnishings, Kiltoy Road, Letterkenny.
Declan Nerney live in concert with special guests Louise Morrissey and John Hogan. Easter Sunday, 17th of April at the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny. Tickets on sale now from the Clanry Hotel reception on 074 91 243 69. Come and join us for a super night's entertainment.
Okie dokie, the draw drum is being rolled off air, which I would feel it's going to be done on air as well. It seems an awful waste of your energy.
I just want to make sure it's all mixed up.
Oh, is it all mixed up?
Plus, it's fun. You were loving it.
I do love my trombola.
It is beautiful. Do you want to just lean slightly to the right so people can... No, don't move. There you are. Look at the trombola. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
What's the difference between that and a draw drum? You can move back again now.
I will do.
I like the word trombola.
That's what I was thinking. It makes it sound more posh.
It does. Makes it sound like I know what I'm talking about.
8 minutes to go until someone wins €1,000. Okay, so Pieces of Her. I added this to the watch list actually because it seemed to be something worth watching, Fionnuala.
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet now. I'm more than halfway through it. But it is a story that has kind of been told before in the sense that you have this lady and she's leading a very quiet life and all of a sudden then something happens and we find out that there's more to her than meets the eye. But I don't think I've seen it where where it has been about a woman and not about a man. So it's a little bit of a different thing to it. It reminds me there was a film long ago and a guy that was running a diner. The guy that played Jesus Christ, do you remember his name? I can't think of his name, which is not unusual. But
we don't even try anymore.
In Mel Gibson's film, that Jesus, no?
No. Yes. Yeah, Cavelli or something was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was the lead on Person of Interest.
Yeah. He did a movie very similar to this, but this is an 8-parter, and basically what it is you've this lady and she's living in a small town. She is a counsellor for veterans, so she's working away and chatting with them and trying to help them with their rehab. She does rehab and counselling, and then there's an incident in a diner in which she kind of ends up getting an awful lot of publicity for, which then suddenly opens up the floodgates, and we realise that she's actually been living in this town kind of under an assumed name. But she has a daughter who is 30, who has no idea of any of this background. The daughter seems to be having flashbacks about what happened back at some point in their lives, even though she doesn't seem to think so. The daughter is sort of given up on her original career and she's kind of back home and, sort of slobbing on the couch type of an idea. Like that's sort of a thing of it, that she's kind of given up on love, given up on life, the whole thing. And all of a sudden this happens and suddenly then, her whole life is turned upside down. Toni Collette is in it. And people will know her from
Sixth Sense. TV show Hostages. Loved her in that. She was in
loads of stuff. She's so good in this. And she's really the only one that's in it that you would recognise. So there's a lot of...
Is it a drama mystery?
It is a drama mystery in the sense that you're not 100% sure whether she is good or bad.
Okay. That's
so there seems to be, you know what I mean? There seems to be an element of, there's bits where the FBI are coming into it and not coming into it. She has an ex-husband. He comes into it and he's kind of doing stuff. There's people coming to try and kill her. Are they good people, bad people? Exactly where she lands is a little bit iffy. There seems to be like a group that she was part of back in the day. It's unclear whether she was infiltrating it or whether she was genuinely a member of the group. So there's very much a lot of kind of story threads that all kind of like blend in together. So yeah, I would definitely say that you would enjoy it. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's a story that you've kind of heard, you know, the basis of the story you've kind of heard before. But it is good. And Toni Collette as well, I always call her Colette, but it's Collette. Toni Collette is very, you know, it's interesting. I find it interesting now where they seem to be bringing, you know, women of a certain age and putting them into these kind of action roles now. You know what I mean? She's fighting, she's doing all kinds of stuff in this, and you're kind of like, well, and she's an excellent actress anyway,
Brilliant.
so she's very good.
Fantastic.
All right, what so far are you giving it out of 10? It's obviously capturing your interest. You're going to see it out. I'm thinking 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
Sounds really good.
So
Yeah, no,
Pieces
it
of
is,
Her,
it's good.
it's on Netflix with Toni Collette, as we heard called Toni Collette. I would have gone with either, I don't know. Greg, we are series recording the new Peaky Blinders. However, we missed the first episode and it's not coming onto Netflix until June. Is there any way we can watch it anywhere, as we can't watch it until we see episode 1? Listen, VPN it? I don't know. Do the BBC still look for...
for your location?
No, for your license. Your TV license.
okay.
That would be the...
Oh, no, well, I don't know.
I think if you are tempted, if you're going to watch it all legally, I think maybe the BBC might let you watch that on a dodgy link.
Well, if you can get through to the BBC iPlayer, you're that's about the only
That's
way.
where it is,
You've stretched the word legally there. Geographically,
Well,
you
hold
may
on
be.
a second. No, going around geo-blocks is not illegal. It's not.
I never understand what is and isn't.
I think you're right. Yeah, we've talked about this before.
It's not,
yeah,
no, it's not.
yeah.
I mean,
There's
Look, the thing is, the only other way to do it is to go to whatever is your browser and type in watch season 5 episode 1 Peaky Blinders online free.
Yeah.
That's usually, and then good luck to you, and don't have anybody around you because you
right
will
up
get
the line there,
you will
Vanilla,
get
you're
some
walking into
dodgy
the line.
pop-ups,
Exactly.
and make sure your
Pop-ups.
AVG. Make sure your AVG or whatever you
Yes.
use
Always.
as your
Always.
security
Let's
is
just say it's
is,
on
is up to date.
It's not the it wouldn't be the worst offence.
No.
I'm going to watch Peaky Blinders from the beginning because I have no recollection of it at all, so I might as well just catch up and watch it all.
I always find, I think Kieran is a bit. I find him a bit Marmite. You either love him or you don't like him.
I get you. I will have to taste that Marmite again, and then I'll come back to you
and see how you feel.
Right, we're going to take a break. After that, €1,000 is going to be given away on the programme.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Is your bank leaving town? Letterkenny Credit Union is now offering MyCU current account and debit MasterCard, bringing full banking features with no appointment necessary to open your account.
Take It to the Limit is a celebration of the Eagles by Johnny Brady, Simon Casey, Nigel Connell and the Sheeran family. You can hear Take It to the Limit for one night only at the Millennium Forum Derry on April 14th. That's Johnny Brady, Simon Casey, Nigel Connell and the Sheeran family band as they perform Take It to the Limit, a celebration of the Eagles on Thursday, April the 14th. Tickets £28. On sale now from the theatre box office or online at millenniumforum.co.uk.
Get ready for brighter days with Foy & Company. The Ballybuffet and Letterkenny stores have everything you need to get your outdoor spaces ready for summer. Foy stock all the leading paint brands and wallpapers, all available for nationwide delivery. From garden sheds and furniture to outdoor dining and decking. The Foy & Company team will guide you through the process of selecting the right paint for your indoor or outdoor space. Book your free online or in-store colour consultation today at foys.ie.
Flanagan's massive half-price store clear-out sale is now on in Buncrana. There's 50% of Irish-made sofas, tables, beds, wardrobes, rugs and occasional furniture. Pay today and take it away. See flanagans.ie.
If you've got magic moments or great memories captured on your smartphone, now is a great time to have them printed at mcgees.ie. Simply upload your favourite photos, choose your size and finish, and McGee's will take care of the rest, with the results delivered to your door. Prices are from just 12 cents, and there's also creative options available. Preserve your memories today at mcgees.ie.
Forward Emphasis International, based in Mallinhead, are actively recruiting for customer service advisors with both permanent remote working and hybrid opportunities available. Experience in contact centres or insurance services is desirable but not essential, as full training is provided. Fully funded financial services qualifications delivering attractive career path opportunities are available. Please visit their website www.forwardemphasis.ie or apply via their careers page.
Join the team at Homeland Letterkenny for their Garden Super Saturday series for the month of April. This Saturday, April 9th, special guest Gareth Austin will host a garden clinic. The Homeland team will showcase outdoor garden power with offers available on the Stiga battery range and Gardena robot lawnmowers. There's also buy two get one free on roses and climbing plants. There'll also be a chance to win a Stiga battery hedge trimmer on the day. Looking forward to seeing you this Saturday at Homeland Letterkenny.
Okay, if you want to watch the draw for €1,000 cash, go on to our YouTube channel now, Highland Radio Ireland, or if you want to watch it on Facebook, Highland Radio or Highland Radio News and Sport. €1,000 being given away now, another €1,000 on John's show, and then next week on this programme, will it be between 11 and 12, do you think, Fionnuala?
I would think so.
We will do the draw for the holiday, €10,000 of a holiday to...
Oh, actually, it's on Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
Yes,
okay.
Because Friday...
Is Good Friday.
Is Good Friday.
Okay, Thursday. That's okay. Yeah. Right. So when you know, like on The Price is Right or any of those shows, Michael O'Fnula, you know the ones.
Bikini.
Yeah. Do you know what were the ones that used to do that there? You know, that's an iron. You've won an iron. What was the?
I forget what they were called.
Trolley dollies. Yeah. What were they?
Oh, like on Sale of the Century with
Yeah.
Nicholas Parsons.
Yeah. Or in, like you always see them on movies in like a boat show.
Yeah.
And they're standing beside the boat.
That's you. It's your job, Michael. That's a long-winded way of saying that.
Is there a bikini for me too?
I think so.
I would like the ongoing use of my eyes, and I'm not sure they would survive that sight.
I think you're probably right.
Punchy smugglers would be bad enough, let alone a bikini.
We're bound to be breached.
Okay, right. So the trombola is behind you, Fionnuala. So let's get into that. We'll move that to one side.
I'll spin it and Michael should pull it out.
Yes? Well,
if you want, yeah.
Let's choose our language carefully. Okay.
All right, we're going to one more run.
It's being rotated as we speak.
Oh, Jeannie.
What?
I've broken my trombola.
No, quick, close the door. What's happening? Oh, that's it, done. Right, now, look at me, Michael. Take your left hand and insert it. Okay, dig deep. Or actually take one from the top. Why? You know, maybe the person on the top should win. I don't know.
I've gone right around and I've grabbed one.
Right, you've grabbed it, okay, and you've produced it. You're handing it to Fionnuala. And the number is...
Even number.
Okay, the number is...
The winner number is 1700.
Okay.
1700.
Right, so the winning number is 1700. So that'll go back in, but not for now. We'll keep that out for the moment. Okay, you can take your seat there, Michael, if you wish. And back to where you were previously is good. So we are now reaching out to 1700, the person, and hopefully, listen, they'll come on air. It'd be nice to tell them they've won on air. We shall see. Okay, so just to remind you folks, if you've bought a ticket already, you are in with another chance to win €1,000. The winner of this €1,000 is going to go back into the Trombola. And next Thursday, we're going to be drawing the holiday of a lifetime, or multiple holidays of a year, if you like. €10,000 holiday voucher plus €5,000 cash for you to use if you wish as spending money. €15,000 its value in total. And the website remains open for you to buy your tickets now. You can go on and do that. Right, okay. Exciting stuff, Fionnuala. I love giving things away.
Oh, I know, and this is so exciting. Every time I think of it, I think of a new place that I want to go. I've always wanted to go, like, drive across America.
Yeah.
Totally could do this.
Well,
with
I would do
Canada.
Yeah, I'd do a $2,000 American kind of a trip, but then I would sort of leave it there and try and get away maybe a little bit more short haul more often. You know.
Oh, you'd like. Oh, yeah. Now,
You know-
although I did Kenya one time in 4 days, so you can totally do. You can do Africa in 4 days.
I just want it to last. I would like to last. Michael, you're much of a traveller.
No, I'm not a traveller. So if I had a lot of cash like that, it would be probably just comic books and just kind of stuff. And maybe go to a Comic Con, San Diego. Yeah, that's
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Well, now we're sucking
Yeah, you
dick.
see,
So they
you
were sucking
always
these
find
now.
something like
Yeah,
I would
true
like
enough.
to go to Comic Con. I think
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
Or any of them.
Yeah,
like not the
okay.
big one,
Right.
obviously, but yeah, any of them.
Okay, so this is okay, right? So we won't be getting this caller on air. But can I can tell you that the person who won this ticket is from Letterkenny, and the ticket number was 1700. The winner of €1,000 in cash is Evelyn Campbell.
Oh,
congratulations, Evelyn!
Evelyn, very
hopefully
good.
you're listening, Evelyn. You are from Letterkenny. She knows that. I'm just letting everybody else know. And you've won €1,000 in cash, and we will be in touch with you to organise delivery of same. Now, your ticket is here in front of Fanula. Should we put it back in the draw
I
drum
will.
live, I wonder?
Yeah.
Okay, there it goes.
So that
The
everybody
lock's
knows, back
coming
in there
on.
again. And you know I love my trombone.
Yep, another spin.
Quick spin, mixing it all up again.
Right, okay. Yeah, I did, yeah, okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, right, didn't realise that, of course. The lines now reopen for those who have not entered. If you want to be in with a chance to win the €1,000 on John's show, you can order your tickets between now and then. I didn't realise that. Thanks for the heads up, Caroline. So you can go online, highlandradio.com, buy your tickets there, and to be in with a chance of... And do you know, Evelyn's in with a chance of winning that €1,000
I know, again.
Okay, right. Evelyn, good morning to you. It's Greg here on Highland Radio. You've won the €1,000 cash prize on the 9 till noon show this morning.
Oh, great.
Congratulations, Evelyn.
Thanks very much.
A wee treat for you.
Thank you, that's great.
Thank you for entering. Did you enter today, or when did you enter, or if you had your ticket for a while?
No, I had a ticket for a while. I
Okay.
got it. I had it before the last one anyway.
Brilliant. Well, listen, we have just drawn your ticket out live on the radio. It's ticket 1700. It's back in the draw drum, so you're also in with a chance to winning €1,000 on John Breslin's show this afternoon, and you're also in with a chance of winning that prize, the big prize next Thursday. But for now, you've got €1,000 to spend on yourself, on other people, whatever you so wish, Evelyn. It is yours.
I deserve in case.
Beg your pardon?
I deserve in case.
Okay. Is there someone in the background saying it's theirs? Is that what was happening? No? Well done, Evelyn. Are you a lucky person, generally speaking, in competitions?
No. No, not really.
Well, there you go. You've won today.
We won a trip to Dubai.
Oh, is that all? Oh, right.
Ago.
Okay. Well, sure.
I forgot about that.
I can understand why you might forget about that trip of a lifetime, Evelyn. Well done. Listen, lovely to speak to you. You sound like a lovely
Thank
person,
you.
so I'm delighted that you've won.
Thank you.
All right, Evelyn,
Bye-bye.
take care. That's Evelyn Campbell, the winner of that. So the lines are back, not the lines. It's predominantly the website is what we want you to use. The ringing us in is for those of you who don't have access to the internet, so that it's inclusive for all of you. But you can go onto our website, click the icon, Highland Radio, the holiday icon, click in, buy one ticket for €10. They get cheaper the more you buy, 6 for 50, 10 for 80. And you can attribute them to different people if you want to gift them or whatever it is. And obviously, I want you to only do so if it's a bit of fun for you and you have the money and you want a chance to win a fantastic prize, right? So if you can't use the website for whatever reason, call us and we will accommodate you. 07491 25,000. Okay. Right, now, okay, it's all very exciting. This is going to be a real anticlimax now because we're back listening to Michael Waffle.
The worst anticlimax ever.
So we go to the cinema this time.
Will I put on a French accent?
Oh, no.
Will that help?
Don't
Will that
do
help?
that.
No, I said French, Greg.
Oh, yeah, okay. Is that not Italian? Oh, no. All right, then. Morbius in Century Cinemas, is it?
Yes, we were talking about universes. This is part of the Marvel extended universe. It's not Marvel Studios that made this one. It's the Sony company who own the Spider-Man character and the other Spider-Man characters.
Now, come here. You're starting to lose me here now,
Okay,
so
yeah.
you need to...
Yeah.
Stop talking. It's bad enough talking about universes, but when you're talking about different film companies that own different elements of it.
Well, most of the people out there will know what I'm chatting about.
Pass
They'll
me
know
that
what
glass
I'm
of water till I throw it at you. will
So
you?
anyway, So this is a story about a Marvel superhero that you probably have never heard of. He's a scientist. It's played by Jared Leto, who I'll always remember as Jordan Catalano from My So-Called Life back in the 1990s. Bless. So he is a scientist who has a blood disorder, and he's doing all sorts of experiments with vampire bats. And guess what, Greg? He accidentally turns himself into a vampire. There you go.
Fantastic idea. Never.
It is really, isn't it?
Never happened
And
before.
Matt Smith, who is probably best known for playing
So we
the
had
Doctor.
flies, spiders, now it's bats.
And now it's bad. Yes. So he is the friend who's the bad guy in this. Matt Smith, who played the Doctor in Doctor Who. This movie has got something like checks my notes 17% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics. Yeah, critics don't like this. It has 70% from fans.
Okay.
But I definitely am siding with the critics on this one. Yeah, the movie it's not a bad. Excuse me. It's not a terrible movie. It's not one of those so bad you have to watch it like Fantastic Four was in 2015. Rather, it's a sort of lukewarm, lackluster, almost storyless film about this guy who gets into a couple of fights. The movie, I used the term bad guy earlier, but really the film doesn't have a villain. It doesn't have a villain. He does some bad things, but he's not really a villain. And a lot of these movies and a lot of stories, think of all the Bond films, it's always about the villain. You need a good villain.
Yeah.
So this film doesn't have one. It doesn't have much of a story. It has some great looking fight scenes.
Is it a setup for more?
Oh yeah, there's a big cliffhanger. You know, a scene at the end which is stupid.
It depends on your audience, that, because some audience go, wow, right, that's, my lips are wet for this now, and others go, well, I needed something a bit more for this experience.
This is from I know you don't want to chat about Sony's and all this
no,
one, but
I'm joking.
I know
That's
you're
just
joking, but at the same time they made the Venom movies. Now the two Venom movies are great fun, particularly the second one, which doubled down on everything that was good about the first one. So the hope was, and my hope was going into Morbius, was that maybe it'll be a bit like Venom and it'll be a good crack. But it's not. The fun of this escaped me completely, eluded me. It's only 90 minutes, but it still drags. It feels like it just feels like a long movie because you're constantly waiting for the story to start, and then the credits come up, and you're like, there never was a story.
Is this primarily a cinema release?
Oh yeah, completely.
Like,
yeah.
so
It's only in the cinema. Yeah,
very short for one of these types of films. It seems.
Yeah, very short for one of these.
Okay.
And I don't think sometimes when that happens, and again I'm thinking of Fantastic Four, Josh Trank's movie from 2015. Usually it can mean there was problems behind the scenes, but not in this case. This movie now, although there was no problems, it was delayed numerous times. This movie was supposed to come out just before the pandemic, so it's like 2 years old.
Okay.
That doesn't, neither here nor there.
Do we know if the sequel to this is already in production or was being produced at the same time?
There's been no word of a sequel. Okay. I think it's underperforming, at the box office. I think we'll know a bit better maybe in a week's time what's happening. I would be surprised if there's a sequel, to be honest, because I don't think it's got enough traction to continue. Yeah. But I could be wrong.
See, Fionnuala, like I mentioned Death in the Nile a little bit earlier on, it pulled in like over 100 million in America, but I think it went straight to Disney here. I'm not sure if it got a cinema release here. Is there a danger that the audience are starting to think, that they could start thinking, well, that's more of a Disney or Amazon film than a cinema film, and then could start judging it in a different context? It could maybe start to chip away at cinema
box office. Yeah,
I think that is a definite concern, especially now when we've all got the larger television screens and people have surround sound. You know what I mean? And you can get an amazing experience watching a movie.
I think there needs to be more definition between that is cinema, and that's streaming, or a bit of a lag or something.
Well, it's interesting because watching on Wednesday, watching Morbius, and then watching the second episode of Marvel's Moon Knight. And that is a TV project, but in every way, Moon Knight is more spectacular. It looks amazing. It's got a better story. It's got better everything. And again, it's Marvel Studios.
The one thing you have to handle for Marvel, and the reason why I like them so much, and I would never go and see this Morbius. You know what I mean?
I didn't think it would be
no interest to me.
I couldn't imagine
whatsoever. Yet I love a comic book movie, so it should be like top on a thing. But the thing that makes Marvel so good is they really throw money at the problem, and you just
there is an expectation with every.
It's just, you always end up with a really high quality product. You may not particularly like the story. You may find, you know what I mean. This mightn't be for you, as anything is. But there's never. I don't think there's any of them that I would ever say the production value was low or
Oh,
that it
yeah.
didn't look
Looks amazing.
Yeah,
Looks
and
amazing.
also
Like, they
always
really-
pushing, maybe actually even pushing the envelope in terms of what you can do with CGI or in terms of action.
Yeah, it just and
like
that's
with
what
Doctor
it is. It
Strange,
just,
the next one we know from the last. We know the next one's going to be visually very exciting because they have done that before. They have like created things
4
on
weeks from
screen.
today.
Yeah, I know.
But then the thing is, again, you know, I think 7 out of 10 people who've watched it enjoy it. It's the cinema. You get your popcorn, you get your treats, and you just treat it as the broader
fans. There will be a
experience.
fan base that will be highly motivated to vote this high online.
See, this is loyalty, isn't it?
Yeah, there
I
is.
get you.
Like this is like the
So there's
Oscars
probably
and the Flash
there's
winning
probably
the
a
big
Telegram
moment.
group saying, right, I know it's a bit of a turkey, but get on Rotten Tomatoes and give it 4 out of 5.
Do you
or
say
something.
Telegram?
Yeah, you know these
Instagram.
No, Telegram's like
Telegram?
secret.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
No,
WhatsApp.
and I would say that for movies like this, you cannot be like. Even the other day, I was sitting around doing something, and I watched one of the Avengers movies again. Love it, and it does lose something on the TV.
Yeah, of
you know what
course
I mean?
it does,
Yeah.
There is when they are when you're going to have when you know it's going to be a movie that's going to have a lot of explosions, a lot of fight
Yeah.
scenes, a lot of stuff like that in it. You go to me. Not seeing that originally in the movie
and
is where
also
it misses
too,
out.
listen,
If it's a bit more drama,
And even if you
Morbius-
have a really good surround sound system, you don't
Yeah.
bang it up like you would the sound
in the cinema, yeah.
So you're
And
not getting
Morbius
all of it.
looks amazing. I mean,
Certain
the
action
fight
that you want.
scenes and the visuals, like when they're doing the fight scenes, they do that thing where they slow everything down to stills. So when he's fighting the bad guy, and it's not really a bad guy, but anyway, it looks amazing on the big screen, and you're glad you're in the cinema to see it. I just wish there was a better story. That's all, just a better story. And I'm very story driven. You see, that's my.
I get you.
That's my thing.
And
I
that's
want
why-
to.
Like Jared
that's why we
Leto
don't-
is
you know.
Batman, and now he's a vampire. It's like, come on, Jared.
Power spin-off Force is a must-see. Tommy from the original series moves to Chicago to take over the city's drug scene. Okay. Tommy was actually probably one of the weaker characters for me in Power. Now, that's just my opinion, because I've seen him in so much stuff. I think I've yet to see the last series of Power, so I must watch that. Someone says Peaky Blinders is on the Fire Stick. I don't know what a Fire Stick is. I don't know what they mean by that. Watched the documentary about Nikki Graham on Channel 4. Very sad. I would imagine it was very sad. She seemed like a
Very troubled young lady.
troubled, but also a very, engaging, happy. I mean, she was hugely popular in Big Brother and what have you.
Yeah.
I'm surprised neither of you watched the Jimmy Savile documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, it's big talk about that on Twitter last night. It came on my radar quite late last night, and I was like, it's too late to watch it now.
Side problem, not the side
Have you seen
problem
it?
is I've watched the first episode last night. It's a story we're kind of very familiar with, if you know
But
what
is
I
it?
mean.
Is this about the cover up more than what he
Well,
did?
the first episode is really, how this person was created, how involved he was with the likes of the royal family, the media.
He comes across really well in the first episode.
Yeah,
if you could
just
call a
stop.
halt to it after
Yeah.
the first episode, you'd be like, "Oh, they really should put that."
But I can see what they
statue
would
back up again.
doing, But,
Oh,
but
yeah, the
also, I
first
think if you
episode
look
is-
more deeply into it,
they've
it's
set
like
it just so that you feel it.
if you look more deeply into it, it's like you can really do anything if you know the right people. If you're in a certain you can really get away with anything. And he believed he could. He genuinely did, and he was dropping.
Untouchable.
He was dropping comments that point directly to that. So I'm on episode 1. And I think there's only 2 actually.
Yeah, there's only 2.
The next one's an
I
hour and a
will
half,
watch
so
it
I'm gonna
because
watch that.
my take was that it's about this, and that is fascinating to me because he was so big inside the BBC and so respected by so
But see,
many
I suppose
people.
Netflix is international now, so
Well, that's it. You
they
see.
have to set the scene.
If you're in America watching this, you would be saying not possible.
Oh yeah,
There's
that's what was
no
on
way it
Twitter
was
last
like
night.
that.
The
Yeah,
Americans
exactly.
were reacting to this, and they were like, "What is this?"
Okay, listen. We talk so much waffle on this item. It's my absolute pleasure now to raise the bar, the standards in welcoming on Bishop Alan McGuckian, the Bishop of Raphoe. A very good morning to you, Bishop. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Greg, I hope I do raise the standards.
Well, you
You're
minimum
putting it up to me here.
You quadruple them at minimum. Listen, we're talking about something coming up on TV. It's tonight. It's The Pilgrimage, The Road to the Scottish Isles. It's a documentary airing tonight, as I mentioned, and for the next 2 Fridays at 9 p.m. on BBC Two. Now, tell us your involvement in this, Bishop, please.
Well, our interest is that tonight, on this first episode, they are walking Slieve Column Kill. They're basically, and the team of people who walked with me over the last 2 years were very much in the background, guiding them as regards routes and supporting their arrival in Donegal and their journey through Donegal and into Derry. So that's our big interest, is that certainly tonight, Donegal and the Slieve Column Kill are going to be front and centre.
Yeah, what an opportunity to showcase the beauty of it. I mean, you as a very active outdoors person, you know it like the back of your hand, but there's an element of pride there that others are going to see what we have access to. Well,
they told us before they came that they reckon on this first run on BBC Two, there'll be maybe 2 million viewers, and then when this thing is when it goes around the world, it's multiple millions. So there'll be an awful lot of people are going to see Donegal, and they're going to hear about Slieve Column Kill and that whole heritage, which is just really exciting for us.
Yeah, and as you say, it's the reach. It's absolutely massive. Are you in this?
No.
You're not in this, but you're familiar.
No, there are other celebrities like that. The cricketer, anybody knows cricket, they've heard of Monty Panazar and
Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. He's the one with the hair. He's the interior designer. Louisa Klein, Nick Hewer, Scarlett Moffat, of course, is very popular. Shazia Mirza, Will Bailey. The only person missing from that list is Bishop Alan McGuckian, really.
I was kind of standing around the edges hoping I'd be invited in, and I don't know what was wrong with them.
Okay, well, listen, we're looking forward to it. I'm sure you are too. Are you familiar with the programme? Is there a spiritual element to it, Bishop?
Well, I have seen bits of it before.
Yes.
If you remember that some years ago, there was one where Dana was the Irish person on it. And I gather that people, agnostics and Sikhs and Muslims and all these, they have serious conversations. And there is, there's a kind of a personal exploring thing on it.
Okay, excellent. And it's all intertwined, really. Listen, thank you for helping us to flag it and let people be aware of it, Bishop. I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you very much indeed. Lovely to see you and speak with you. Okay, back with a wrap-up from Michael and Fionnuala after these.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages with life cover provided at no additional cost. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
On this week's Business Matters, we'll be focusing on the success of Creevin Community and Enterprise Centre in Tyrone. I'll be speaking to Centre Manager Mary Doherty, and I'll also be catching up with Dermot Mclaughlin, Community Operations Manager with Gigabill, and Neil Sullivan, founder of Hadfield Green, who are both based at the Co-working Plus G-Tech Digital Hub, located within the centre that was officially opened last week. So join me, Ciarán O'Donnell, for Business Matters on Sunday evening after the 6 o'clock news. The Business Matters podcast is also available to download at highlandradio.com.
Business Matters in association with the Faculty of Business at ATU Donegal. Looking for a career in financial services? Consider the Level 9 MA in Governance, Compliance and Data Protection. Take the next step in your career and contact the Exec Ed Coordinator on 9186206 or email execed, execed @lyit.ie today. On the farm, if you need some machinery parts, contact Tinney's Agri Spares in Letterkenny. Specialists in parts for Sammy, Lamborghini, John Deere and Zetter. Also stocking a full range of service and wearing parts for Kuhn balers and mowers, and a full range of agricultural lubricants at unbeatable prices. On the farm, get it sorted at Tinney's Agri Spares, Leck Road, Letterkenny. Call 91222374.
At Centra, we have great offers like Centra Extra Lean Mince 330 gram only €3. Pringles Selected Range 165 gram €1.50 each. And in our Italian wine sale, San Valentino Pinot Grigio, better than half price, only €7. Centra. Live every day. Enjoy, call sensibly.
A massive spring bed sale is now on at Grove Furnishings, your local easy living store. For 1 week only, there's extra discounts on all beds and mattresses. There's 20% off all Sealy beds, along with Cirrus, Nimbus and Stratus mattresses. And there's free delivery to Donegal, Derry and Tyrone. That's right now at Grove Furnishings, Kiltoy Road, Letterkenny.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Gatwick's back. You can now fly daily to London Gatwick with Aer Lingus, the perfect gateway to explore South London. Ireland West Airport. You're flying.
Okay, so showers will be wintry in nature today with hail, sleet and some snow flurries. Temperatures 6 to 9 degrees, but temperatures dropping to just 2 to 3 degrees in showers. Moderate to fresh north and northwest breezes, gusty around showers. Now, just to let you know, by the way, on a most serious note, that there's been a road traffic collision in the gap from Ballybofey to Donegal town. So we're being told at this point to ask you to avoid the area if possible. And actually just had an update too from Connor. Thank you, Connor, for that, by the way. He's stuck in traffic in the gap. That is because of an RTC. Adam is doing a bake-off for Temple Street and Crumlin hospitals. They're having tea and buns in the parish hall in Castlefin from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow morning. So if you want to support a local young person, Adam, and Temple Street and Crumlin hospitals, there's tea and buns in the parish hall in Castlefin from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. tomorrow. But again, just to let you know, there are delays in the gap at the moment because of an RTC. We'll keep you updated on the news, but primarily my thoughts are with those involved in it, and hopefully everyone will be okay. Right, 08660 25,000. You've been keeping us really busy on the phone lines all day. We really do appreciate it. We've about 2 minutes. We're still in the company of Michael and Fanula, so I'll let you argue it out. What do you want to talk about? What's coming up this weekend? Because I think it's nice that we flag stuff. Knives Out. This is with James Bond in it, isn't it?
Yes. Daniel Craig.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's on TV, is it? Is it?
I don't know. It's on the list.
Oh, it's on.
No.
Is this an old list?
It's not on my list.
No, my list is.
Well, I've got all the old Knives Amazon from today.
Yeah.
What?
Well, that's a different one.
Oh.
Knives Out is different.
Different.
Knives Out is on one of them. Because actually, we had it.
You could have made the link for me and got me out of that hole.
But it's not on.
He mentioned knives. Something about knives is on this weekend. It's on your list.
I wasn't sure whether Michael might have put Knives Out on his list.
Derry Girls. Actually, maybe let's give Derry Girls a mention.
Derry Girls, their final series is starting on Tuesday.
Are you
it's going to be on at 9 o'clock. I have to say I did enjoy it, and I didn't think I would enjoy it. No, I actually did. No, I did really enjoy it, and I didn't think I would enjoy it because I'm not normally into Irish comedy.
I know what you mean.
And I find and it just doesn't tickle my fancy. But actually, I have to say, I just thought some of this was. There's a few characters in this that are just so well written, and they're not even the lead characters. As in, nothing wrong with the 4 girls and the guy that does it, but. There's a nun in it, and she's absolutely worth anything just to watch her back.
Are you surprised they're pulling the pin so early in this? It could have presumably.
Not really, because I'd say they're going to have trouble now. First of all, with my fellow Oren Morian, who is now in Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Kira.
Yes, that's it. Oren Moore. She's from Oren Moore.
Nicola.
Okay. Keeping the cast together when something's so popular.
I'd say that's going to be an issue. Now I don't know what the others have been doing, but I'm assuming that they've been doing other stuff.
Plus, quit while you're in-betweeners. Quit while you're ahead. Leave
Fawlty Towers.
Exactly. Leave like 3 series that are highly regarded.
Yeah, I think there's a lot said to that.
And I'd also, there's only so much of this I think you can do in the sense of, like, what's really good about it is the way it kind of blends, and particularly for somebody like me that wasn't born or reared or grew up, with the troubles surrounding them. It just really, for me as an outsider looking in at it like that, it just really seemed to blend it in as part of their life.
I don't know, okay.
But you'd wonder how long you can kind of keep that going.
That's Tuesday, Channel 4. Michael, thank you so much.
I love it.
And I really appreciated what you did with the trombola and the beauty that you brought to it. And I appreciate you not taking your shirt off to expose, I know, the bikini you put on anyway, in the hope that we'd ask you. And Fanula, as always, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
That item back with you next Friday, 11 o'clock. We're back with you on Monday morning at 9. Stay tuned. John Breslin with £1,000 in his hand is coming up after the news at 12. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by